I think that's why I started saying inobtrusive. It's unobtrusive.
There it goes.
English stuff. Alright, welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, 5th Edition Live Play Podcast. On the last session, you guys had made some decisions about how you were going to handle some information that had been given to you, and you had gotten underway traveling across the desert back toward the Dragonborn tribes with whom you had stayed on your way out to the dungeon that you've just survived. On the way there, you received still more information, more dire than the previous bits. And new decisions were made. Zintharamil became concerned about the direction the party was going to go in and insisted that Yukikaze drive the cart through the night to get to the Dragonborn tribes faster. And so he did. Raiken, Leah, Yukikaze, and Zintharamil all stayed up all night, driving the carts, making sure not to lose their way. And Yukikaze is exhausted. Did I have Leah and Raiken roll their Constitution saving throws?
I did
yes, I did. I remember us doing it, and you said I wasn't exhausted.
Okay. Leah, you don't remember doing it? You may do so now.
I don't remember doing it.
Okay, you may do so now.
That's 15.
15. Yes, that is enough. You are not exhausted. You do not take a level of exhaustion from staying up through the night. You are tired, but you do not suffer penalties. Now then.
No. I'm young. Young people can stay up late.
Yeah. Just wait till you get older. Alright.
I think I suffered, didn't I?
Yes, you have 1 level of exhaustion currently. That means that you are at disadvantage on any skill checks that you roll. This does not include saving throws, nor does it include attacks.
Yukikaze is like right when we start. Let me know when we're ready to start.
Just quickly, Tristan, I wasn't actually able to hear you at all there until I reconnected.
Okay.
So
I gave the rundown of last time. So decisions were made, went across the desert, more dire information was received about situations in Bromdor, and then Zintharamil pushed Yukikaze to drive the cart through the night to get to the Dragonborn camp faster. People are tired, and it is now approaching noon on May 13th.
Okay.
And the party is awake. You've been awake for about 4 hours, so we can, jump back and go through that. Since waking up, Yukikaze is still driving the cart and checking his charts and using this fancy sextant that his father gave him to try and determine where you are and where you need to be going to get to the tribe. Larmendis had been able to get enough information out of Ryusaki to plot the coordinates on the map for where the tribe might be, or is supposed to be, and as we hit around noon, the cart pulled by its 2 lizards is going to crest a dune, and you're going to see off in the distance ahead of you the dark smear across the sand that is this large group of Dragonborn and their tents. So you know you have made it, but I will allow you to have any time to have breakfast, language lessons, asides, and roleplay for those 4 hours between about 8 a.m. when you wake up and noon when you arrive at your destination.
I asked last week if we could just say that Jebel talked to Larmendis and Leah about the events of in Aspara, or Koja, and the ceasefire in Bromdor, so that he's all up to date on all this stuff now.
Given that you've been traveling, or you traveled for about 12 hours the previous day and 4 hours today, not counting the 8 hours that you were still traveling, but everyone except for those 3 were sleeping, I think it's possible that you could have talked about that. Is there anything in particular that you would not have shared, Lair or Leah? About the events in Aspara and Bromdor previously that led to the ceasefire?
And Arcosia.
I don't think there's anything I would keep out now.
I don't think there's nothing is jumping to mind, and unless I have a good reason to be
Elazon jumps to mind,
obfuscating.
Leah.
What now?
The city of Elazon, in which there was a Temple of Pelor.
Oh, you think that far back? I was
I don't know
thinking,
how that ever happened.
I mean, it
Jebel
did.
already knows about that.
So the events in Elazon did immediately precede you going to. So Elazon was the last city on the road that took you to Everwatch before you ran into the army that was blockading the city.
I would have started at arriving to Everwatch. I would have skipped anything about. Like, I wouldn't even start before going to that.
So you
Like,
start the
yeah.
story with the siege of Everwatch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remind you, Jebel does know about the Temple of Pelor thing because it was brought up by the
water
two
elemental.
Wood
It
elementals in
was.
the
I
war.
just wanted to know if old wounds were getting opened up again.
And then
And
Jebel-
also, Nerevar doesn't know.
Also, Nerevar doesn't know.
Yeah.
But Laramentis would have deferred all stuff before him.
Also, Zin
Traveling with
doesn't
the
know.
party.
Also, Zin doesn't know.
Zintharamil, I'm pretty
Yes, he
sure.
He
Yeah.
should, if he was aware of what was going on with Leah while he was in the armor.
I got the armor after that.
It's true.
But he
But-
did hear the
No,
storm
oh,
discussed,
Yeah, there was the whole, when Laramentis found out
and when Cyrus and Jebel
that
found
whole situation.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I think
I
That's fair.
imagine.
I also think we might have talked about it telepathically, actually. At some point.
Sometimes you speak telepathically. Oh, you mean you talked to him specifically about it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I have done that. in
What
the
I
past.
remember is that you had a discussion with him about your past, and he told you he didn't know about your past. He only knows how you feel now, and that was a conversation that you had while he was in the armor. I know you were referring to Elazon, and I know that he didn't know about it at the time. That's one specific example I can recall from our conversations.
Right.
But in any event, you can start that story as you came upon the besieged city of Everwatch. Now, do you remember those events well enough, Thomas, as your time as Bruenor? I
Getting
can give a quick
into-
refresher.
I remember getting into Overwatch was, yeah, that was where, what was the name? Squeakers?
Squeakers was the rat that, or ferret?
Or the Weasel?
Weasel?
Or ferret?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that
a ferret.
drowned.
It was a ferret.
It was poisoned to death in Arcosia.
Man, people with pets in their pockets and poison.
Poor
Turns
Blandar.
out when I'm in a big cloud of poison, the ferret isn't immune.
Poor squeakers. So yeah, the quick summary of that is that the party came upon Everwatch, which is an island city known for its white stone tower. It's incredibly difficult to capture. While it is easy to blockade, it is hard to capture because it is easily defended by its high walls with ramparts and the fast-flowing river around it. At the time that the group showed up, they were setting up trebuchets to try and assault the walls of the city from the river's shore. The party utilized the aqueduct system, where water is taken from the edge of the river by a constructed stone tunnel and entered the city via a clockwork mechanism, which involved a filtration system that was a ooze. So that was fun. After entering the city, the party was discovered and taken into custody by the City Watch and brought before Empress Katerina Belgrin. But though not before being held for a long time, waiting on the Queen's son, the Empress' son, Garant, to identify Vendar. After that, she demanded to see their writ of authority, which had been given to them by King Hadvar Lionborn of Evangard, which had been destroyed in the aqueduct during their time submerged in water, and some people had gotten eaten by the gelatinous cube. So they were in a bit of a pickle. She issued them a new writ of authority under the condition that the party take on the task of freeing her country from the clutches of Bromdor. At that point, the party first met Rowan, a drow, and then went to the Archmage of Everwatch and teleported to Arcosia. In Arcosia, they found the place completely taken over by dragons and uninhabited, green dragons specifically, and there were eggs laid in every building that they entered. Some had hatched. They fought many wormlings and a couple young dragons. They met a woman named Paulina, who was an elder dragonborn alchemist, who provided them with potions of healing, love potions, and alchemist fire. They obtained the armor of Bahamut, and a couple other magic items, and fought some drow as they tried to escape the island of Arcosia, whereupon they met Yukikaze. They found the armor of the Pact, which is what Leah has been wearing that contained the spirit Zintharamil, and then they took a boat. They piloted the boat away from Arcosia and crash-landed at Brilmont, which was a small fishing village on the southern border of Bromdor and Sylvanas, which was adjacent to a forest which supposedly contained Bala until her recent awakening. There they obtained Laramendus, departed Shiva, and who they had met on Arcosia, and were given the task of taking their information about the awakening of Bala and the threat she posed to the world to Lord Erkin Sivan, the leader of Bromdor. They were escorted there by Laramendus, who has contacts in high places there. That's when they met Nalia, who is the Archmage of Bromdor. They arranged a meeting with Lord Erkin Sivan, where they pled their case about how the war was not a good decision because this great threat existed elsewhere, and if they split their forces trying to take over Aspara, as they were, everybody was going to get wiped out. So Lord Erkin Sivan sent some people through a teleportation circle to Bromdor to verify this. They verified it, and then he arranged a meeting with Empress Katerina Belgrin, which resulted in a ceasefire. The occupying forces remained in Aspara, but were not to attack any citizens. The party teleported back to Aspara using a secret teleportation circle that Nalia had set up in the basement of her mage's manse, and thereupon they received their congratulations on ending the war and went on, resumed their previous endeavor of hunting down and stopping a necromancer from potentially summoning Orcus. They tracked him to a place in Thanandir called Shatterstone Keep, and along the way reconnected with the cleric of the Raven Queen named Christopher Crimsonplane, who joined them and members of the Sons of the Imminent Dawn, another adventuring company that the group hired to fight their way through the undead horde and to the necromancer. Along the way, they lost one of the members of the Sons of the Imminent Dawn. They destroyed the necromancer, and when they were releasing the woman who had been sacrificed in the necromancer's ritual, they determined that it had in fact been a gold dragon who had been trapped in human form. They came back the next day, resurrected the dragon, who turned out to be Seltharis, one of the most ancient gold dragons in the land, potentially direct daughter of Bahamut. who thanked them, gave them a way to contact her in times of need, and then took off saying that she needed to check in with her brother Gold Dragon, who was supposed to be watching the west, which is where Bala rose from. The party then resumed another previous quest, two previous quests, one which was to determine the status of a woman living in a town on the border of Thanandir and Shirkawa, as they had been asked and paid by her brother since she'd been out of contact. This town, they found out, had been taken over by a beholder, which they went down into its lair and fought it and nearly died, but caused it to flee. They escaped, but lost their dwarven fighter named Bruenor in the process.
Never get shot by a death beam when paralyzed.
And very nearly lost Rowan.
I think the real thing to draw from that is never fight a beholder.
Never fight a beholder in its lair.
No, I think I don't think that last bit's. I think just
never fight a beholder. So that is when Jebel joined the party. So that catches you up summarily, and everything between them learning of the siege to meeting Jebel.
Okay.
And I did that without reading any notes, so you thank me for my amazing memory.
I think you forgot Shiva along the way.
Where?
No.
I think you forgot Shiva along the way. I
No.
didn't
No,
hear
I
it.
mentioned.
I mentioned
it?
her
No,
when
I
she
didn't have.
left, and then backtracked to saying that she joined the party
right.
when you were in Arcosia.
Okay, I missed that bit.
Okay. Yes, she was in the story. Tam had departed at the time that you met the armies before Everwatch, so he may or may not have been part of your story.
Right. No.
Okay.
He's he's dead in a ditch somewhere.
Oh. Wow. Okay, then.
Isn't that sub-canon lore we kind of come up with?
I mean, if that's what you believe, I can't stop you.
I can look for him sometime in the mirror.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could scry.
Uh,
Or, you
Find
know,
his birth
oh no, I was
evidence.
gonna say or sending, but no, Lair never met him, and I don't know
Yeah, I
that
don't-
anybody
I
in
don't
the
know the guy.
party, I don't know that anybody in the party was close enough related to him to do the, you know, the assisted sending.
You didn't mention how Paulina died, though. I would mention that
Okay.
with details.
Would you like to tell that story, or shall I?
Nah. I don't think I remember it well.
No is not the answer to an either-or question.
Yeah. Okay. So there would be mention in Leah's story that the old Dragonborn alchemist that they met on Arcosia was demented and was very difficult to take care of because she was constantly changing her wants and needs. And then in the very end, when Leah found the armor of the Pact on one of the larger war vessels at port in the Seat of Bahamut, they taking it awakened an adult green dragon which attacked the party. And when it swooped at the party, the woman named Paulina drew its attention and sacrificed herself, causing it to scoop her up to eat her, and then when it did so, detonating a pocket full of alchemist fires in its mouth, killing it instantly, and herself.
I don't know if I'd call it a pocket full.
In short, Leah got Paulina killed.
Sam, would it help if I said
that's-
that inspiration from that was taken from the witch?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, it's a very large pocket, like a
I
dress.
Yeah.
would look at it that Zephyr got her killed.
I
'cause
think
he
it
was
had
the
been
one
like
who led-
25 alchemist fires or something like that.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, no, Zephyr was the one who led me to the boat in the first place. I like to think that he is the one who got Paulina killed.
Oh, I mean, you may think that. I can't stop you.
Putting more blame over to Zephyr.
Okay, so that's the quick summary. It was does that help, Thomas?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and that's what they have told me.
Yeah, that's effectively the story you were told. So you can now act on and make decisions based on any information contained therein.
Excellent.
But nothing before Everwatch.
And no time.
No time.
I think that's...
Or no time.
No. Just
Well, we
that was just
very
the best
there.
joke.
I mean, there is definitely no Tam.
Yeah,
it was just
very
See
with
the
us when we
effort
met.
Tan, no tan.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jebel wasn't. Bruenor was.
Okay.
You met Clan Nottam as you were heading toward... I forgot the name of that town. Sam.
Which town?
The town that had the Beholder.
Raiken?
Braven.
Yes, Braithen. That's it. I had to go to my map. Clicky. Yes, Braithen. That's the one. Thank you.
Yeah, then no time would be mentioned, but Tam
Okay.
would not. Well, at that point, I probably would have mentioned Tam because to fill in the blanks. That like, oh yeah, this is the clan of one of our previous party members. So yeah, Tam would have been mentioned.
Okay, so yeah, Tam was a barbarian who had joined the party at Ebengard and disagreed with the methods the party wanted to use to try and stop what was going on at Everwatch, and so separated himself from the group. He has not been seen since. He left the group outside the city of Everwatch in the night, the same night that the group broke into the city using the aqueduct. They later, after defeating the Necromancer in Thanandir and heading south to Braithen, saved some merchants who are being run down on horseback by a bunch of barbarians who wanted to slay them and take their goods. They learned that they fought these barbarians, and after I think 2 of the barbarians had been slain, they stopped fighting and told the party that they were worthy opponents and said that they were of Clan Nottam. The party tried to ask if they knew their former party member Tam, but couldn't seem to convey this in a way that the barbarians understood. I think eventually somebody got the message across, and the barbarians told you he had been a traitor.
Yeah, they were not impressed.
And so he was a pariah within his clan and had left them for one reason or another.
Yeah, which is good reputation for Tam to us because Nottam is a bunch of assholes.
Yeah. Nobody is certain what his reasons for betraying his clan were or leaving, but they know they didn't like the clan Nottam. I don't know what their opinion of Tam himself was. So that's a pretty big little summary there. Because that encompasses at least 2 chapters of this story we've been telling.
Yeah.
Would they have
3.
They have because I do recall that what was the dragon's name? Zintharis?
Zintharis was the name of the gold dragon that they met and have some kind of pact with.
Had a she was very much confused that the necromancer had actually been able to recognize her, to capture her, because she was traveling in like human form.
Yes, she had been incredibly upset and confused about how he had determined that she was a gold dragon while she was human, and then found a way to prevent her from regaining her dragon form when he captured her.
I believe we're still currently in possession of that method.
You are. Beyond that, I would say that the party was pretty certain how it was determined when they saw her show up in Arngahir's oasis, disguised as a tiefling, considering that she was disguised as a beautiful female tiefling with solid gold horns, draped in a flowing gold dress with gold jewelry, and like her nails and hooves on her feet were gold as well.
It's a bit on the nose.
She was subtle.
Yeah.
She was
There was another
not
tiefling
subtle.
that we thought might have been.
Yes, another tiefling had re-entered the town that same morning who wore a lot of actual gold jewelry. And the party did mistake her for Zintharis, and she was very pissed off to see non-tieflings in this tiefling hiding place.
That was very awkward.
So glad you didn't see me.
Who was it that went out to talk with him? Like, was it Yukikaze?
It was Yukikaze.
Yeah. On,
You know,
on my command, wasn't it? Wasn't it me
I
who
mean,
pointed
you
out
suggested
that,
it, and
that
he
might
wanted
be-
to anyway.
I think Vindar, we also got Vindar to talk to her as well, because of the captain hat.
I don't know if I have her name, but
I think it was, dang, I had just a second ago.
Yeah, if
I think it was Astrid or something like that.
I think you're right.
yeah, if Dragonborn could blush, I'm pretty sure Yukikaze would be very red at that point.
Well, that's kind of racist.
If Dragonborn could blush, I mean, if Dragonborn could feel shame, they don't possess this ability.
They don't.
They're way too proud.
Yeah, you've traveled with two of them.
That makes a line.
2 points make a
What's it
line.
with you with
right?
lines?
He's very happy that rather than having a data point, he has a data line, to which you can apply a regression and know exactly at which rate things will increase. Which is how he will be completely overrun with purple worms by next Wednesday.
Yeah. Last week, there were no purple worms.
This
And then there was one. And then there was another one. And holy shit.
Yeah,
The world is not safe.
true.
Turtles is not safe. Well, technically the world is not safe because
But
Fallout,
yes,
but
so
whatever.
that was Astrid. So now that we've rehashed a significant portion of the campaign up to this point, which I'm honestly kind of happy about, was there anything else you wanted to take care of in the morning before reaching the Dragonborn tribes?
Just want to confirm that everyone who did not stay up through the whole night got the benefit of a long rest.
Do I get another saving throw?
This is your third one, if I say yes?
Yes.
Okay, then yes.
Am I close to Raiken?
No.
He is on the tiger and tired, so we will ask Raiken. How do you feel? How close will you be riding to the wagon? Feel free to spite him.
He just drifted off a little bit.
So he's supposed to be 10 feet away.
Yeah.
So what, like 11 feet away?
And a half.
Yeah, that means that we need to ride very close to the wagon.
It's true.
if he
It
is-
is
Yeah.
very close when it comes to the wagon.
And I mean, he could be on the other side of the wagon, too.
You'd have to be within
so
5 feet of that wagon.
probably not.
Does a wagon follow mount rules, meaning that once people are in this, they count as that size?
Clear the entire wagon.
I think...
No, 'cause it
rule
has
of funny
squares.
here, I would say no.
Yeah, no, it has squares. Like we've looked at all that.
It has interior squares, which is how we determine when you're over capacity for people.
Gotcha.
It's a 2x3. It's a decent sized wagon, but like it only comfortably sleeps like 6 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raiken probably isn't going to be close enough.
Alright, well, let's see if I can get that nat 20. I got that nat 20, so 28.
You are still exhausted. DC was 30.
What?
DC was 30.
Ah! Raiken! Why?
If we were close enough, we would have actually made it. Oh my
Raiken is like, huh? What?
So if I'm within Raiken, when I wake up in the morning, I have a 10% chance to make it.
That's pretty good.
I'm really impressed that you rolled it at 20 when you asked for it, so, you know, take pride in that.
Start asking for more nat 20s then.
No, I think I used up that one-time boon. It's gone.
There's all the Notums. Cynthia. Catherine.
It's okay, you only need a 19 then the next time that you're next to me.
Urza. Shareth.
Maybe the DC will go down each day. Just by one. So eventually I'll be able to do it on my own.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see Astrid in here, so apparently I was lazy that day and didn't write her into my NPC list, so I shall add her now.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned her in my diary. If I did, it was not by name.
I mean, I don't know that she had much interaction with the party at large. I think it was mostly a heated conversation with Yukikaze.
Exactly,
It was
so
a
I don't...
one-off.
So I don't think I ever actually got introduced to her name.
Well, at least since I rolled the 20, I didn't waste my inspiration.
I mean, you know what really screwed Cyrus was those burpees.
It was definitely the burpees.
Was it actually?
I mean, you'll just have to try and... you can either try and figure out by using the item more exactly how this negative affects you, or you can talk to Lara Bendis.
I will take option 2.
Lara
make
Bendis,
an
you can
Arcana
tell
check?
him about your plan for this item.
Oh, to disenchant it?
Yes.
It's fascinating. I intend to... That one and the cloak. Although the cloak was more useful. But I feel like we're not going to be in a situation that's really going to benefit from it, what with the not being able to be in enclosed spaces. But we'll figure out how to disenchant things, which might give us some clue as to how to produce this residuum in the future.
I'm okay with that. Those things suck. Never, ever use those during time stop when hasted. Ever.
You're choosing to get rid of the cursed items?
Some of them.
We had already talked about that, but I had said once we get to the camp.
I think it's a good plan.
This is as
Me
we're still
too.
riding,
He's
right?
just like calling back from in front of the wagon as he's still sitting on the lizard. Oh wait, no.
It will be informative and a good way to get rid
Well,
of them.
last
He's
time I
not
checked,
on the lizard. He's nested up inside the wagon.
yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
So I'm gonna
He's just muffled.
So,
He's still
is there any
nested.
chance you know way we could disenchant these?
I do. I have a
Could-
ritual to do it.
Any chance you could share?
I think that was the intent. He was going to walk us through it.
I'll walk you through it, and the nice thing is that at the end, you will no longer have a cursed item, and you will have some residuum.
Cool.
At least, you should. That's how it works where I'm from.
I guess we'll see.
And if it doesn't work that way here, that will be useful to know, and we will not have the cursed item to worry about. So
It is...
it's a neutral win.
It is the type of information I needed to gain when I was going for my Archmagus rank back home. So I can freely admit that I do have a fascination.
I imagine traveling between the worlds, you don't find a lot of opportunity to disenchant native items, but with people not wanting to part with them for the most part.
You know, with cursed items, I don't usually find people holding on too tight. This was a bit of a strange situation. Isn't that right, Yukikaze? Off you go.
Just don't pay attention to Raiken's belt.
So we haven't reached the camp yet, no?
I think this is.
If
this
anybody
is
has, like, yeah, if at any point you're like, all right, we're done role-playing this, we'd like to reach the camp now, I can just skip to there.
No, I'm fine.
Did anyone want to do language, like a language lesson? Because there's time in the morning.
I would like to learn more the Sylvan.
Okay.
Too tired.
Perfectly.
And
happy
also
to
on the crib
teach
rail.
more Sylvan.
Let's do yeah, I take one lesson in something. Not Sylvan.
Who has an entry? Hooray.
Okay. Well, I can only if I'm only teaching one thing, then you guys need to pick if it's Sylvan or Dwarven.
Sylvan.
So, between the time that you wake up and the time that you arrive at the Dragonborn camp, there are 4 hours. Lessons are 1 hour long, and you can give lessons for more than 1 hour, and they count as more than 1 hour. So in 1 hour increments, however.
Okay, I can do one of Sylvan and one of Dwarven if that's what people want. By people, I mean the 2 people that are interested in lessons.
How about just all Sylvan, because they got the Dwarven last time?
Did you? I thought there was something yesterday. I thought he was teaching Sylvan up until...
He
I
taught
thought
one
he
lesson
did
of
both.
Sylvan and 2 of Dwarvish. That's what I had written down.
Okay. That's right, because you can only learn for 3 hours each day. So even if he taught more, you'd only be able to benefit from 3. So, yeah, how do you want to break that up, Blair?
I mean that conversation wasn't a whole lot, so I can do 3 hours of teaching, 2 of Sylvan, 1 of Dwarven. I don't think I can do a 4th hour because there's not enough time. Or actually, the story would have taken up a fair amount of time.
That's fair. That's fair to point out.
So 2 hours of Sylvan?
No, I'll do 1 of each because Jebba was asking. What are you 1 lesson shy of being able to roll?
I don't know. What is the minimum for being able to roll?
5.
Then I need 2.
Okay, I'll let you have 2. I'm 1 shy of Primordial.
How much is for speaking it?
What do you mean, like, fluently?
Yeah.
I think it's
A lot.
It's a lot. It's like 30.
I was thinking it was like 20 or something, yeah.
I have it written. It is... down here. 31 and up. You may understand spoken word fluently. This may include writing if explicitly part of the lessons.
I don't currently have my book, so I wouldn't be doing a lot of writing. I would just be doing spoken for Sylvan right now.
But I think it'd be fairly easy if you're already familiar with the script. So it's just kind of learning
Hey,
differences.
Learn how it's transcribed with Elven, but
I'm pretty sure this is a pinned message, but I'll check. It's not, so I will pin it. There you go.
Alright, so... Yes. What are you guys doing?
I'm doing 2 lessons of Sylvan,
Woo!
I guess.
Oh, oops. Sorry, I touched my microphone. Did you hear that?
Yep.
Mhm.
I now understand how to say my name in Sylvan.
Is that so? Just to get this. Is the DC just a straight dice roll, or are you adding on intelligence? Or...
It's intelligence.
Okay.
So it's a straight dice roll.
Yeah.
It's an intelligence roll, and so with only 5 to 10 lessons, it's a DC 20, and that's to get the gist of what's being said. With 11 to 20 1-hour lessons, it's DC 15 to get the gist. And with 21 to 30, it's DC 10 to understand the important stuff of what's being said. Allowing for the fact that you might not understand every word being said, you get all the important stuff. And then at 31 and up, you don't have to roll anymore. You can easily understand the important stuff, and then beyond that, you can become fluent in it. Okay?
I wrote that down in my notes here, so...
Okay.
I have
It's
it on
also pinned to this channel, so if you drop open the pin thing, the first thing you see is the initiative order for the latest combat, and the second thing you see is language lessons, and the third thing you see is Cal and his wonderful face.
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing you see is Raiken's transformation sequence.
We don't talk about that.
It's great.
No.
And then the sixth and seventh things you see are Kubriel poofing.
No poof, please.
Okay. So, you guys do lessons. If you're participating in 2 hours of Sylvan, mark it down. Leah, you're still going to be riding with Raiken, I assume?
Well, I have the entire night, so I'm going to continue until we're at the camp.
Okay. And you're not interested in learning any more languages, so you're not going to ask him, correct?
Nah, not after
Riding
the
all night. Yeah. No, it makes sense. I'm just trying to understand who needs to write down what. This is all mechanics stuff I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Your decision is your own, and I'm fine with it. I'm just trying to know what it is. Okay. So, if you're learning a lesson, 2 hours, you can mark down 2 hours of Sylvan. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. And so, with that out of the way, we get to the Dragonborn camps. Noon has rolled around. You guys can be snacking on things as you go, so a lunch stop is not necessary, since the point was speed. This was effectively a forced march for the people who stayed awake, which, just again, quick recap on that, Yukikaze, Zintharamil, Kubriel, Raiken, and Leah, which is why they had to roll against exhaustion. Raiken, did you roll for Kubriel?
Probably not.
Okay. Please do that. Constitution saving throw. You're riding her, she gets your bonus.
Let's see. Let's look at Kubriel's stuff. Huzzah! She got a 19.
Okay. She is, not exhausted. She is tired and angsty, but she's not exhausted. Alright. So, you crest this last dune. You see before you the dark expanse that is the mass of bodies and tents covering the golden sand in the midday sun. It's very hot. Being inside the covered wagon in your light clothing is quite the relief, especially with the sides of the wagon rolled up for airflow. The lizards are looking incredibly worn and tired, and are now going to kind of break into a sort of a dash as they see this ahead of them. That you can see the glistening of the water at the middle of the camp, and they seem to be seem to have a renewed vigor trying to get to this civilized area, as the lizards are quite intelligent. Now, as you head down among them, you do see that many people come to this side of the camp from which you approach to see what's going on, and, one after another as these people look, and you can see recognition among some of these random Dragonborn. And they smile and wave, those that recognize you and understand what's going on. Some look wary, not entirely certain what's going on, but those seem to fade off as they get information from people around them. So as you approach the camp, you can kind of see this wave of interest, and followed by a smaller wave of, oh, okay, that's what's going on, going through the crowd. They do clear a path for you as Yukikaze, you struggle to keep the lizards in line. Yeah, as they're trying desperately to get to the water at the middle of camp. And people clear out of the way and allow you to do that. You can roll animal handling for me.
I can, but do I want to? Because I don't want something to go awry.
I mean, it'll go awry if you don't roll it, because that's just considered a 0.
See if the dice are feeling affectionate tonight.
And I'll help.
Apparently they're really thirsty.
Okay.
What does my help do?
Yeah, there's no way I succeeded at all just with that roll.
Okay. You struggle desperately against the rains, but these animals are just hyper-focused on their goal of getting at that water. And you... everybody in the cart feels it as the wagon pulls ahead with this burst of speed, and it rattles from side to side as they strain against the reins and against each other. You can see that you're approaching what you recognize as your father's tent, and he is attended by a couple other people as he comes out to greet you, and the lizards just blow right past him, like catching a corner of the tent and pulling it partly down as they rush up to the water and begin drinking.
You had to ruin things interesting.
Yeah, I jump off of Kubrel.
Okay.
Can you make sure I stop first?
Yeah.
Tuck and roll.
Well, I move one leg over Kubrel and preparing to jump off. Will you stop Kubrel at that point?
I mean, I don't know if I notice you, but stop.
I'm sitting in front of you.
Oh, are you? Okay,
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
then,
she would be in front of you on the saddle.
Okay, then Raiken would probably slow down and then stop at a safe pace.
You have much more control over Kubriel, but she is expressing her desire to go to the water as well.
Just let us off, and you'll go to the water.
She sits.
We'll get off.
Okay. As soon as you're off and she's sure of it, she stands up and pads over to the water and begins lapping it up in big gulps. You see the Dragonborn around you as you would have stopped closer to the tent, further back from the water. Kind of recovering from this runaway wagon that just tore through the camp and pulled down part of the chief's tent. And you see that you are being approached as you stand there, tired in the midday light, by the Dragonborn chief, who you remember is named Ryuzaki and is Yukikaze's father. And
all right.
He and a couple of attendants, and by attendants I mean people who look like bodyguards, as they're big, tall, muscular, weapon-bound Dragonborn. One looking to be frost with white and silver scales, and the other looking to be fire with red and brass scales. Approaches you, and he settles his graying eyes upon you and says, "I am told that my boy survived your trials in the desert."
Yes, we have made it back home.
Hello,
By
Open
who?
Eyes. Hi.
Hello.
Nice May 13th, isn't it?
Yes, it is a beautiful day today, especially
It's a Friday.
because I have my son back. Your name was Leah, was it not?
Correct.
I am glad you survived your time in the Forbidden Desert. It is a very dangerous place that my people stay far away from. We were
Oh, you
worried
had
you
no
would
idea.
not return.
It shouldn't be dangerous anymore.
Well, not as dangerous. There's still the
Hey, you're not there.
standard dangers like scorpions and purple worms.
You says coming out of the wagon, or are you just saying this out of character?
Leah, can you tell me where my son is? I wish to see him.
Last time I saw him, he was on the wagon that just passed over there.
Thank you. Come, let us go see my son.
So I'm gonna be kind of grab my stuff and make sure the lizards are fine. I'll get someone's attention to grab them, and I'll be like, "Dad's tent," and then I'm gonna walk that way.
Okay. You can see that there are a couple Dragonborn working on trying to set it back up, and assessing the damage that's been done to the cloth. And as you notice this, you turn and you see Raiken, Leah, and your father and his guards coming towards you.
I'm gonna give my dad a hug, and then I'm gonna just walk away to his tent. And as going in there, I'm gonna be stripping and then passing
This is awkward.
As you approach for the hug, he also approaches with arms spread, and you hear him say, my boy, you've survived where are you going?
He's had a very long day.
I'm not finished doting on him.
You'll have to wait like 8 hours. Give it 8 hours.
What has happened? I did not expect
We
you
traveled.
here.
We traveled all night. Some of us have stayed awake. I say I like what do you say, like, yes, rub my eyes.
Oh, yeah. You rub your eyes with the tiredness. He looks very.
I lost the word rub there.
He looks very confused and concerned. He says, "Is something going on that has required such urgency? I thought that you would travel by day as you did before."
Yeah, some things have happened since we've been gone, and we needed to make haste to get here so we could begin trying to deal with those things.
Does it have to do with the strange storms?
Well, not exactly, but we might be able to explain them a little.
Strange storms, or the strange lack of storms?
We have not seen any in many hours.
Well, good news.
Have we all grouped up together now?
I think at this point we have.
Would everybody go to Ryuzaki?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yukikaze is absent.
Yeah, you're out.
I wave at Zintharamil when I see him.
Then you will notice as you gather up over here that there are gasps and whispers going through the crowd as you approach.
I'd imagine there's a lot of stairs as well.
Yes. You notice that they don't seem to be staring at any of you who have voices.
I mean, they're obviously staring at a strange, fey creature walking amongst us, I assume.
If you follow their
Larmendus.
gaze, you do find that that is true, and that also some of them are staring at the Eladrin, who has a golden, red, and blue bird on his head that is spreading its wings and looking dazzling in the sunlight.
Right,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I forgot about. I forgot about.
Naravar and Cal.
Yeah, no, I remember Naravar. Naravar. But I forgot about Kazooie.
Kazooie.
Cal.
Yeah, that's what I said. Kazooie.
Kazooie's a girl and doesn't talk.
And
What do you
don't
mean?
ever think of
Kazooie
it.
does talk.
I'm pretty sure she did.
She goes,
Okay. Thank you. That was a beautiful impersonation.
Rendition.
So you
I don't
approach
play the game now.
you approach Rizaki, and you are aware of the stares, the excitement, the confusion, and the whispers and murmuring about your group. Ryuzaki does not seem to notice as he's puzzling through the things you're saying. He seems to be focused on Raiken and Leah, and every now and then turning to listen to the add-ons that Cyrus is throwing in.
Maybe you should fill
Good
you
news and
in.
bad news.
Yeah, maybe you should fill you in properly. At like a campfire or something.
We will not be lighting campfires for several hours. It
Yes,
is
it's morning.
midday.
I know what I mean, like sitting down. It's been a long night.
Alright. I think I understand. Yes, please. He raises his arms, and the people kind of, like, half-heartedly break their stares away from the two travelers. He says,
I've also been sitting on the saddle all night, and it's safe to say I'm not very comfortable in my current state.
Oh yeah,
"Let
your butt's gonna
us-
seriously hurt.
Let us convene in a more comfortable place." And he gestures toward his tent, which you can see at this point has been rectified. You also notice that you can't see Yukikaze anymore.
but a trail of armor.
No, I didn't leave it everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah, you didn't leave it
put-
everywhere.
put
You left it in a
armor.
line as you walked.
No, I meant like in the destination. I was getting to my destination. I was stripping, being sloppily about it, but
Uh-huh.
I'm
No
not
one,
gonna,
in
I'm
the
not
tent, like no one can step in the tent because armor is everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah,
But it's the
that's
tent.
what it is.
It's all contained in the tent. Okay. Ryuzaki leads this large gaggle of his people over in front of the tent, similar to when you gathered around the campfire on the night before you left. In the midday heat, you can see that some of the Dragonborn fan themselves or drink from water skins. But all of them listen intently to what is being said as Ryuzaki asks for an explanation of what's going on. As you reach this place and you are gestured to sit nearby so that he can speak to you with ease, that he seems to notice Naravar and Zintharamil for the first time. And he puzzles at them for a moment, and then he turns back to Raiken and says, "It seems that you have acquired new allies in your travels in the Forbidden Desert."
Yes, one of them is only going to be with us for a short time.
That's Naravar. He drops from the sky.
And the other one is actually from
He was there
Leah's
last
armor.
time.
Yeah, he was just trapped in Leah's armor.
I point at the armor not having the vines anymore. As you see, it's looking a bit different right now.
It seems you have had many strange adventures along your trip, and I would like to know of them, and I am certain my people would like the knowledge.
Indeed. Out of character, one question. Is Vindar a chance now busting out his poison to start working on it while this is going on?
Not inside.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then, yes.
As soon as we stop.
Are you going to stay over by the wagon to do it, or you are going to have gone with the group?
No, I'll find an empty spot over by the wagon.
over by the wagon will be empty now, because everybody wants to know about what's going on with the group.
Yeah, I'll
Be
go
free
for
to
it.
eat your poisons.
Okay.
So I was laughing at Jebel's post in the Discord.
Yeah. Okay. So, you begin cooking. You begin cooking your poisons.
His distilled vials of death.
Yes.
My concentrated death.
What other vials would they be?
Most people have like ink.
Most people
Health
aren't
potions.
Vendar.
Health
There's sometimes
potions.
Yes. So we found. Crap. What was the place called again?
Garland.
Garland.
We found Garland, and
What was left of it?
well,
What's
yeah.
left of it,
What was left of it?
You found the armory? Oh, the
The vault.
vault? Yeah.
Yeah, we found a vault.
People have stories that talk of a place by this name. It was said to be in the Forbidden Desert, a dangerous place, perhaps the reason for the desert being forbidden. You went there.
Yes.
It was definitely dangerous.
Oh, yeah. There was a
Yeah.
lich.
But
Was.
a leech.
Yeah, a 500-year-old wizard that's gone bad.
That is exceedingly old. Older still than I am.
But we were able
How
to.
old are you?
I am 73 years old.
Oh. You look good for your age.
Thank you.
I'm 14.
thought you said you were 13.
Yeah. And now I'm 14.
Oh,
Is she like nudging someone like repeatedly?
Cyrus is just there going like, what kind of magic is this?
No, I said, oh, congrats.
You have magic that can change your age?
Oh, warlocks, man. Wow.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
we defeated the Lich.
Indeed. And this has
Could hardly
made
tell
the
that because
Forbidden
we're still
Desert
here.
safer.
Yes, in a way.
In a way.
Technically.
Well, the vault's not there anymore.
This place you call Garland is gone.
It kind of
Yes.
exploded.
Well, we don't know what
Imploded?
happened. There was a very bright light, and then Garland wasn't there anymore.
Alright. What does this mean for my people? Why
mean-
did the storms change?
We believe Garland is what was making the storms, because they all centered there to bring back the dead
Magic.
for the Lich to use as minions,
And they seem to draw magic.
and that.
So,
This
Garland
makes
gone.
sense.
So, without the place at least being there, you may not have to worry about storms anymore,
well,
aside from the occasional natural one.
that, yeah.
This is happy news. If my people can begin to lead a more stationary life, perhaps we can create rather than scavenging.
Perhaps.
Then I will thank you on behalf of my people for finding a way to stop these terrible storms. We have legends that say once Torlos was not a desert, that once it was a forest. Perhaps someday, now that this garland has been destroyed, maybe it can go back to being that.
Maybe someday. That certainly would be nice to hope for. Although, one more thing should be mentioned.
And what is
I am uncertain if the Lich has been dealt with permanently.
We hope so.
They have, in case you're unaware, as I expect you might be, they have a habit of being able to reincarnate themselves.
That is
And
most troubling.
We were unable to find what allows them to do this. So if it wasn't taken out in what destroyed or teleported or whatever happened to Garland, then they may come back. However, I am not certain.
I don't see that there's any reason why she would specifically desire to come back here.
Neither do I,
Her
but
goal is foiled, and the equipment that she was dealing with is either gone or with her.
Wasn't the thing I dispelled what we thought was the thing?
It's possible, but we couldn't be for certain. It was magic, that is all we know.
It's what caused the explosion to start.
She might still come after us due to the armor.
Oh, no, she would most certainly come after us. I don't believe that there's any particular reason why she would set up shop back in what was at one point Garland again.
Again, I agree with that. Just better to be aware of all the facts, just in case.
I thank you for the thoroughness of your concern. Is there anything else that my tribes must be aware of for our own safety? What must we know about your new companions? They seem different.
Yes, Zintharamil. We wanted something here, right?
Yes. It is my belief that if I can earn the belief, the true and unadulterated consensus of this place, as a powerful fae that I am to be, that it may become so.
See, Zintharamil is defender, a guardian. Or he was a guardian. Now he seeks a new path.
Formerly, I guarded one of the perpendicularities that connects this plane to the Feywild, and I was prevented from continuing in that duty by a demon. I was trapped, and this wizard, Nerevar, released me from my prison. I wish to continue defending Leah.
And I wish to defend Amaranta. So essentially this will give you a new mission to defend this world.
That is my hope, sincerely. But for a while I've been able to feel the magic but not use it. And I think this is the last stepping stone. Zintharamil looks upon Ryuzaki a bit pleadingly. He has spoken quietly, as he always has. Yes?
Well, you can finish that. I just wanted to say something like when you're done with that part. Just so we didn't get talked over. Sorry, go.
Ryuzaki seems to consider these words and seems to be coming to a decision. You may speak.
One other thing that you may end up needing to know about. When we were at Garland, we discovered purified or condensed version of magic, which is what caused the place to disappear or be destroyed. I don't know if this will have any effects or if any perhaps was somehow left behind, but I thought you might want to be aware in case it has some odd effects on the creatures there, if any manage to stay around.
We brought some of it with us, but lost about half of it to bring back Zintharamil. Unknowingly, we didn't know the crystallized magic would be gone if we did that. Naravar has more information on this. He filled us in on what this is. We just thought it was some strange magic powder.
I see. I will address that momentarily then. But it seems to me that your friend Zintharamil, and he seems to raise his voice more so that the crowd around him can hear, wishes to introduce himself to my people. And he is a Fey Guardian of great renown and power. That is what you say?
Correct. And a good power. The power of nature and protection. Good things.
Very well. And he seems to be announcing this to the crowd. Telling them to, show respect and feel blessed by the presence of such a good and powerful creature in their midst that wishes to make their life better by helping your party to protect the world. And you can see this spread out from Ryuzaki through the crowd as people start to talk about it. Some are apprehensive, but from several you do see looks of pride. Some give gestures of respect in the Dragonborn way. And after maybe a minute of the crowd talking about this, and you can see that by the end it has reached to the farthest rings of people around your group. A couple of Dragonborn break out in applause. And this is taken up and slowly followed by a chant of Zin's name.
Oh, that went quick.
And Ryuzaki smiles at you and said, "It is a perk of leading these people that one can earn their respect and trust, even on behalf of others."
Oh, if only all leaders were as you, then we would not be having the problem of Brondor and Aspara.
I will have to ask you about that, but I think something is happening to your friend.
I look over at Zintharamil.
He is glowing.
Like, looking good glowing, or in actually glowing?
Both.
Okay.
Both is good. You do see that around him, normally as he walked, you saw plants, shoots of flowers and small plants grow out of the sand and then fade as he passed. you can see that now he seems to be surrounded in his own small clearing glade, that there are several taller plants, trees, and underbrush around him, almost like he is in a tiny private forest. And his eyes are glowing green with magic power. He seems to... He's looking at his hands before him, and you can see wisps of magic as it springs from his fingers and wraps around his hands, and then drifts away. Sparks of light, motes of energy. And
Wow.
he breathes heavily. We were right. In rotating his hands before him and looking at the plants around him, he says, I can feel the Feywild.
That's good. That's great.
I can offer you power, Leah.
You can.
Make a pact with me.
Oh, okay. Like how Zephyr did it?
No. We will forge an alliance. We will work for the betterment of this world and the protection of the lives within it. We will defend the green places and the animals that live there.
Agreed.
And when the time is right, we will hunt Zephyr down and remove him as a threat to this world and its people.
As we must.
Here, here.
He kneels down in front of you and spreads his arms toward you.
I approach and like, do you want a hug? This. So this is very different from last time.
He slowly brings his arms in towards you as if to embrace you.
Okay, I do so.
Okay. As you make contact with him, you feel an electric buzz pass through your entire body. You can feel his heart beating against your chest as he holds you tightly. And you can feel a new surge of power within you. This will be perfect. We can protect so many people together.
I'm sure we can.
I believe in you.
And I knew.
And as you look around, you notice that you do not see the Dragonborn or your party any longer. You find that you are embracing Zintharamil in what appears to be a lush green forest. You can hear the cry of exotic birds, and overhead, the sky is a bright purple, filled with bluish clouds. And an orange light breaks through the trees around you. All of their leaves are blue.
What is happening? Where are we?
Zintharamil looks around and says, This is my home. This is what the Feywild looks like.
It's beautiful.
Yes. It is.
Are we really... Are we really here, or is this just...
For a moment. He stands and he releases you and stands before you. His full height, nearly 7 feet of archfey standing before you, bristling in the light and glowing with a soft energy. You can see it swirl within his eyes as he smiles at you and says, "We are from here on bound to each other. And I swear to do all in my power to help you protect your friends, your family, and your world."
And what does this do to the bond I had with Zephyr? Is it gone?
Do you feel it?
Don't think so.
You do not. This new well of power has replaced it.
Okay.
You now possess the Archfey Pact.
Woo!
And all of the powers that go with it.
But sadly, you still don't have your invocations. Sorry, Leah.
Your invocations may be reselected as you see fit.
Yeah. Cool.
Gosh. Her power's over 9,000.
I don't think so. Maybe.
My next task is to find a place here to call home.
You going to stay here?
Yes. My place is in the Feywild now.
Oh. Then how will we be in contact?
He kneels down again and places his hands on your shoulders, and again you feel that electric buzz of power. It's exhilarating. I will always be with you, in the power that I give you, and I will find ways to communicate with you, especially when the need is great. There is a lot I still need to learn about what my duties are to become, but my priority is you.
So will I ever see you again?
Of course. I love you. I would never leave you alone. Not for long.
And then he immediately leaves.
I'd give him another hug.
He embraces you tightly. I will find a way to help you. Beyond the power I have given you. But I am hoping that, for now, this will help you forge your path forward.
I'm sure it will. And, I saw a new pact.
Yes.
What would happen to, you know, to my summoning spell?
Which one exactly?
Pact of the Chain.
Unfamiliar.
Right. I believe there's no restriction on which pact you can take with which one, so you can still be a Pact of the Chain Archfey. That's
Yeah, I
correct.
would like so.
Yeah.
I looked into it, but that is the one that fits my character the most.
Yeah. When you cast it next, a new familiar will be selected for you. And it will be your companion in your travels.
Oh. I can't wait to meet this new familiar then.
I will select a good one. One I trust. so you will know you can trust her as well.
I trust you, so I will trust your decision.
He smiles brightly at that, and stands again, patting you on the head. You have shown great courage and resolve in the time that I have traveled with you. I have absolute faith that you will make the world a better place for everyone who lives in it.
I'm sure you will help making the Feywild better and safe as well. Or at the very least, find a place to stay. I wish I could help you with it.
I owe everything to you. You've already helped me so much. And shown me what great power mortals have.
It's the least I could do for previously helping the one who took you from here in the beginning.
We will set things right. Together.
Of course we will. I know we will.
Thank you, Leah.
Oh, thank you. You helped me see, helped me realize what I was doing and what monster I was following. Without you, I would still be doing his bidding.
I believe in second chances. And I don't believe that your mistaken path from before defines who you are. You are amazing.
Thank you. And so are you.
Take care of your friends. I will see you again soon.
So will I then return then?
He, in a very human gesture, takes the two fingers, his forefinger and middle finger of his right hand, and presses them against his lips. And then he reaches down and presses them against your cheek. And as he does so, you can feel again the warmth of his presence and the electricity of his power, and the place before you fades away. You are left with the tingling warmth of his touch and the pact that he has bestowed upon you, the power it brings. You find yourself once again standing under the hot sun in the desert. You can see the last roots of the plants which had grown around him fading back into the sand. He no longer stands before you. As for the rest of the party, during that period of time, you were aware of the plants that had grown up around Zintharamil, and then they spread out to encompass Leah as well. And a bare few seconds passed as she was enshrouded and cut off from your view before the plants began to fall away, and just Leah was left standing there.
Leah, where did he go?
Oh. I look around, kind of stunned.
Yusaki is smiling at you.
Just like that, huh? He's back in the Feywild.
Well, that's where he belongs.
Wait.
Tristan, send you a PM as well.
I said if that's where he belongs, so...
No, hold on. Naravar's protesting. What do you mean he's back in the Feywild?
What do you mean? You didn't notice I was gone?
It was only for a few seconds.
You notice as you are speaking to your daughter, and she's trying to explain this to you, that very suddenly and very quickly, a lock of her hair, starting from the top front of her head, is rapidly changing from her pure blonde to black.
Oh, Leah, your hair's changing.
What?
Your hair, some of it's turning black.
Yeah, I reach for my mirror and take a look at it.
I don't think that's normal.
I feel like we're ignoring the fact that he just returned to the Feywild without a perpendicularity.
I mean, he was an archfey.
So maybe they could just do that?
I suppose.
He was an archfey who suddenly had an extreme influx of power.
I suppose I've not witnessed such a transition before.
I
expected at least a spell to have been cast, a teleportation circle or something.
I look
Friendship,
at
maybe?
I look at the mirror and like touches the black spots. It's like, strange. I mean, he didn't mention anything about this. I start like combing it to the side and like, I think I can make it work.
Wait. I'm confused. What did I just witness?
None of us are quite sure.
We
Yeah, your
made
guess
a new
is as good
pact.
as mine.
I can no longer feel Zephyr. Zintharamil has taken his place.
Fascinating.
That is good news.
That
However,
is-
Zephyr knows where we had previously been, and so knows where to look for you when the connection was severed.
Well, I guess
That
it just
is
means we need to get
true.
moving.
I would also look over to. I can never remember his name. The Dragonborn.
Rizaki?
Yeah.
Raiken.
Someone got stuck on himself.
Yeah. Seriously.
Can never remember my father's name. I just call him Dad.
No. Misaki. Yeah. So this is very confusing, I'm sure, but Zintharamil replaced my old patron, who was the demon who took him from his world in the beginning. This demon had been tracking me for a while, so he might know where I've been. For this, I would advise you to move camp, just in case.
This is a task we can easily accomplish. I am glad that things are being set right in your life.
Yes, sorry for the inconvenience. I hope.
He puts
I
up
hope he
his
won't come
hand
into trouble.
warningly and says, "Not at all. It does this old man's heart good to know that he could help with such an important job."
Oh, you helped a lot.
You are family to a Dragonborn, and so you are family to us.
Oh, Dragonborn died. I slept this entire thing out.
Your family to Raiken.
Oh. I thought he meant his son.
Again.
Yeah, I thought he meant his son because he said to our Dragonborn. Okay.
You
Gotcha.
hear cheering.
Oh, to a
from
Dragonborn,
Yeah.
he said.
Yes.
Not to our.
You hear cheering from nearby in the crowd. You look over and you can see the squad of Arcosian soldiers led by Tatsuya.
Who's gonna tell him?
That's my niece!
So yeah, I leaned over to Raiken, and I'm like, who's gonna be the one to tell him?
Wait, didn't we send him?
Rock, paper, scissors?
I think he'll take it better from you.
1 second. Didn't Raiken send him on a death mission to Arcosia when we left?
No. I gave him the sigil, but I don't think he was on his way there because he was still following, quote unquote, following his mission that he was given, which was like going out into the world and stuff. Like he was sent away from Arcosia.
He was
on a mission.
He had been sent away from Arcosia on a mission. As he told you, that mission was complete, but Arcosia was invaded in the time that they were away. They had been given a message when it was invaded, and that is why they came. Yes, to stay away, which is why they came to Toralos, where they could find allies in the Dragonborn here.
So they had decided to stay there instead of going back to Arcosia.
We'll go back when the time is right, brother.
Well, right now, apparently Bromdor is invading and plundering.
What?
You have no
Those
sense of
fiends!
Raiken will look to Larametis. I told you should have.
You have literally...
Get over here, little brother! Tell me the story!
Literally no sense of tact whatsoever.
Raiken will walk over to...
As you approach the crowd, it suddenly parts, and two armored hands come out as two soldiers grab you by the forearms and pull you into the crowd, marching you to your brother.
I lean over to Cyrus, and I'm like, you see, I think that would have gone worse for me.
Well, you're not wrong.
You can hear shouting in Draconic trailing away as this gaggle of soldiers led by Tatsuya and now holding Raiken prisoner move away from this larger crowd that you're in.
Good to see you again too, brother.
That will depend on your answers.
He's dead. So, should we pack up the cart? He's not coming back.
Oh, ye of little faith.
So, Leah's got a new pact.
Yay.
Woo!
Nice to be able to actually use all those things written on the character sheet, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at my character sheet right now, seeing
Take your time.
some spells would need to be replaced because
Not a problem. Take your time with
I
it.
couldn't use them. Like I cannot choose a lot of spells that were on my sheet, so it just says automatically replace them, which saves me the problem of having to find what should not be there. And
Yeah, and just so there's no confusion, you are taking this pact at the level you're at. You don't have to rise up through anything again.
yeah, that's okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're level 1.
Yeah, that's just a suicide pact at that point.
Yeah. That might be something I want.
Now then. It seems my son needs to rest. Do any of the others need such as well? When would you like to leave? Where do you head next? And what is your next most pressing issue, so that we might determine how my people can help those to whom we owe so much?
Oh yeah, I forgot to press Vendar about that in the card again. Dang it.
What's Vendar about?
His friend or acquaintance that is asking for him in Tuka.
That was not. There was no mention of a friend or acquaintance. There was a messenger.
Messenger, right?
A messenger regarding him. I think it's. I wasn't super clear to people. I was not made like it wasn't super clear to me, but I was also like fairly vague. We will be heading to Tuca as soon as everyone is well rested enough that we may leave.
How far are we from Tuca? In character.
How far are you from Tuca, like, in days of travel?
Yeah, Jebel's asking that.
I believe it's 2 days of travel, if you travel normally, but you could always forced march again.
I think we just hear Yukikaze goes to sleep say, F that.
So what are we gonna do while Yukikaze sleeps?
I'm gonna go see if I can press Vindar for information as to what happened in Tuca.
I'm going to see if I can get more stuff made out of these teeth.
So you're going to go find the craftsman again to try and make the teeth into more weapons?
Yes.
Okay, you can do that.
Somebody might want to make something other than a scimitar for... I don't remember if it was Jebel or Vindar who made it and are not proficient with
I
it.
think it was Vendar, who is proficient with the rapier specifically out of martial weapons, but not other martial weapons, which apparently the scimitar is.
Yep.
Yeah, I got the scimitar because that was when we thought it might be important to have different damage types.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's
Oh, right.
it's always
It's
important to have different damage
Vaguely
types,
important.
but it's also important just to check every now and then what you're proficient with, because stuff like that can happen. But now you have this cool purple worm tooth scimitar that you could give to somebody or sell.
Well, I didn't have a purple worm scimitar. Jebel made himself a purple worm scimitar. I've had my scimitar since Edmundcard. I thought I was proficient with it, and I guess I wasn't.
Okay, let me just
Yeah, you
double
got a
check and make
dagger,
sure I'm
didn't you?
not blowing smoke around over here.
No.
I have a purple worm dagger that I had made.
Yeah, I have a
Campagons.
scimitar because I am proficient.
View Campagan.
Pagan.
Boo, Cyrus. Vendar. View. Proficient with simple weapons plus the long sword, short sword, and rapier. Not all martial weapons, just those 3.
I find a longsword surprising.
Yeah. I think it's just because it's versatile.
I mean, it's versatile, but you
It's
still
not
can't get sneak
finesse, I
attack with it.
know. It's
So
weird.
it's weird.
But that's what it says.
Yeah.
Longsword. And that's rogues. They're just longswords. But yeah. So it's important to pay attention. If you look at your sheet, you can see what things you have proficiency with just by looking at your to hit. Because you can see
Yeah,
the daggers.
I hadn't set the D&D Beyond thing up for a long time.
Okay. That's fine.
And then once I did, I figured out that I wasn't
Yeah.
proficient with it.
I've been trying to, like, whenever new stuff gets added, I put it in here for you so that you have it. But yeah, so you've got your purple worm dagger, yep. You've got a regular dagger, you've got the musket, you've got the scimitar. You're right, it's not purple worm scimitar, it's just a regular scimitar. And then there's the short bow +1. Lair,
Yes.
you're still carrying that book that there was never any time taken to read, just to remind you of its existence.
That is true. I was hoping to have some of Yurizaki's time to tell him a little bit more about what we had found there and the tech that had been found there.
Indeed.
If that was something that he would be interested in hearing about, and mention about the tabaxi that we'd spoken with.
Yes. In response to these, are you going to show him any of the tech or just describe it?
I would be perfectly happy to show him some.
Okay. He does seem fascinated by it, and a lot of the people in the crowd seem to crowd in closer to get a look at it. There are reaching hands, but I'm sure you don't want people touching it, and you can make that clear.
I would have been using the rope box as the easiest.
The rope winder?
Yeah. The easiest,
That is the easiest.
Easily
and safest.
transportable. It's very clear what it does.
Yep.
It's not going to blow up in anyone's face.
I imagine that, you unwind some to show him, somebody takes it, and suddenly it's just getting wound all around the crowd. Each person passing it to the next is just longer and longer and longer, and it never seems to run out. Soon you've got, thousands of feet of rope spread around.
And then I cut it.
And you cut it, and they're just a tangled mess of rope for about 5 minutes before it vanishes. Yeah.
So I would be sharing that information with him.
Yeah. As for the other thing, which let me think for a moment back to what you just said. It was the tech. What was the other thing? I'm sorry.
I wanted to mention that we had spoken with the Tabaxi.
Right.
That we saw over there.
Right. To which you will say, like our tribes, the Tabaxi are nomadic, but they are far more secretive, and I think the word to use is disillusioned with other humanoids than we are. Of course, we might not have been quite so friendly were you not traveling with a member of our clan. The desert is an unforgiving place, and we take survival very seriously. The Tabaxi even more so. For the most part, they are not dangerous. But we still take care when dealing with them. It seems that you had information that they wanted, and once things became dangerous, they saw their ability to slip away. This is perhaps the best outcome. Unless there is more you wanted to learn from them, you seem the type.
It would have been fascinating to hear stories passed down amongst them, but I am happy to have shared the knowledge that we gained.
My children tell me that some of the Tabaxi steal away toward the wall of the city and make trade in much the way we do, if a bit more secret. So I think that if your desire to speak with them is great, you may be able to find them very nearby Tuka.
Thank you.
Of course. As I have said, my people owes your group a great deal, and I will offer what I can as thanks for what you have done here in the desert. Are you hungry? Thirsty? We have enough to share.
That is most kind.
It seems you will be trapped here for several hours, while my son sleeps off the effects of such a hard push to come.
I imagine he will be doing most of the navigation on the way back to Tuka, so I would prefer him well rested.
I am happy to know that my training has come in handy. He was always very good at reading the maps.
We could not have made it safely there and back without his assistance.
It gives me great pride to hear that. Thank you, Laramendus. And thank you for keeping him safe for me. Thank you to your entire group. I was very worried I would not see him again. It's very dangerous. And my people never return from the Forbidden Desert. Thank you.
I behave in an appropriate manner.
Whatever.
There.
He's not that bad. He's just quite. But he'll like nod solemnly, or something to that effect.
Holds out his hand. Starts, asking for a tip.
It sounds to me like your group has much to do in this unpredictable world, and knowing my son's convictions, I imagine he will beg leave to stay with you.
I imagine that he will still see that there is more that he wishes to do before returning home for good, but that is for him to speak to.
He is a very good boy. He knows when there is wrong in the world, and he can help. He never had aptitude for our magic, but I always knew he was special in other ways. It would do great honor to me if you would allow him to see through his convictions and help your group in what it is you need to do to set things right in your Bromdor. When he wakes, I will let him know. Another champion will be named. I could not keep him from his destiny. I would not want to.
Another champion must be named? Is he not still
He was
on the path to accomplish the pilgrimage?
I do not know at this time the progress of his pilgrimage, but the pilgrimage is not necessary to fight for leadership of the clans. It is a tradition. In truth, very few have completed this pilgrimage in the past. Many have come close, but all have returned to partake in the, sorry, I have to look at this note, because I've forgotten the word. Where are you? Here it is. Shinseigats. The Shinseigats. And the ones who did complete it according to our stories went on to become champions of Bahamut. As is right, as we run our clan in his honor. If this path leads to him completing that pilgrimage, then that is how it is to be. But leading the clans is not a burden I would put on him so young, when there seems a greater purpose for his life. I hope that he understands how proud I am of him.
I'm sure he does.
think I would like to take some time. You are free to seek any of my people, and they know, or will know soon, the great debt that they owe you and your friends. Thank you for sitting with me this afternoon.
And thank you for your time.
Thank all of you. And I am so very glad things worked out for you, Leah.
So am I.
I am happy to have been able to witness it.
Yes, and this has turned out to be a very great birthday so far.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Didn't realize today
Again.
was your birthday.
It is, yeah. May 13.
Well then, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Also, random question: is it Friday?
Is it written?
Gotta get my dice out.
I mean, you could calculate it because it is. I
Did
did
you
plan
assign
to.
days in your journal?
No, but I mean, if you could calculate it, it would take a long time because her birthday was on a Friday,
Oh God.
like on her actual birth.
Oh.
It's Wednesday.
Okay.
Unless the math eventually says differently.
Unless the math eventually says differently, which I am not going to do that math. So if you do that math just to
I
make me
believe it's
wrong, I will
Thursday.
thank you, and then I will be angry at you.
I believe it's Thursday.
There was a leap day you forgot. A bunch of them, like 4 of them.
All right, so you're telling her you think it's Thursday.
Yeah. Yes.
Sure.
It's first. Let's say that. So no, it's not Friday 13.
Had to try.
I for the lulz of it decided that her birthday was on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, you got beaten to that joke.
Yeah. No, not
Apparently.
really, because if you look at our log, it was mentioned when I first decided her birthday, like way back. I did write it right away.
No, he means I got beaten to that joke.
Oh,
Cal's birthday is in Hoppaday.
my bad.
What the heck is Hoppa Day?
It's a month. It's 10 weeks long.
Why is it called a day if it's a month?
That is a very long month.
Narvar, can you please explain?
Is that how the calendar is broken up?
I think it was. Well, you see,
Interesting.
in the world I'm from, Hoppaday is the name of one of our months, which is, in the spring. At least, it's the spring for the part of the world that the capital city is in. Which is where we live. And Cal's birthday is the 17th day of Hoppaday.
How long is spring there?
It lasts about Hoppaday and the next month.
Right, and how long is the next month?
About the same length.
That's a long spring.
It's 4 months. If, comparatively.
I thought you said it was 10 weeks. Per month.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 5 months, give or take.
Hey, worlds spin different, okay?
Yep.
You've got a short spring, then. I should have known when I started to deal that one here. In any event, so it seems I've witnessed the forging of a pact with an archfey and a warlock.
Yeah, that would be about the size of it.
An entire tribe of Dragonborn living in the desert, relieving the son of the leader the duty of succeeding his father in favor of continuing a journey to protect the world? The country?
World.
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 From our current understanding of events to come.
I see. And, that group of Dragonborn over there, he gestures vaguely in the direction that Raiken disappeared, were dressed differently and spoke differently than the people here.
They're from Arcosia.
Excuse me?
The other Dragonborn nation, the one that was overrun by Bala.
Did you say Arcosia?
I did.
You have an Arcosia here?
Yes.
It's an island, a large one. But
Does that ring a bell for you?
It's very fascinating. I should have been asking. There are legends on my world of an ancestral home of the Dragonborn race, called Arcosia, a city long since destroyed and lost to time. And since the Dragonborn have wandered, integrating themselves into surrounding societies, no longer in possession of a home. So integral is it to the history of my world that when certain Dragonborn present particular traits, they are considered paragons of their race, and the paragons are referred to as scions of Arcosia.
Huh.
The sons of the Lost Empire.
The last champion of Bahamut also went by that title. The scion of Arcosia. Shagrazir.
That's... Are you familiar with the stories of the Dawn War?
Not offhand, but perhaps you could jog my
am
memory.
I? Trust him.
Religion.
Quite possibly. I got a 25.
You've never heard of it.
Oh. Ash?
It is not something taught here. I am aware of this event, Scholar. It has never been asked of me before, but it also predates any scholar I have traveled with.
I should make it a point to ask about everything that predates the scholars you've traveled with.
I wish you luck in determining all of the things that predate my scholars.
I imagine there's quite a bit. I say to Cyrus.
Less than you may think, Scholar. I have been around a very long time. The Dawn War predates me. I know of it from my own herself. One of the few pieces of knowledge she imparted directly to me at my creation. Her intent being that my knowledge come from her people. You wish to know of it?
I am curious what Naravar knows of it first.
Very well. He yields the floor. Naravar looks between the two of you and says, "Fascinating. In any event, it's not something that is formally spoken of in many worlds. Usually only the highest magic worlds that I have visited are even remotely aware of their birth. As far as my travels have taken me, and as far as my interactions with the gods themselves has yielded information, the Dawn War were the flames in which all material planes were born. It was a time when two gods ruled everything, opposed as they were, and from their struggles the other gods were born. Ao and Tharizdun, supposed creators of the cosmos. And after them, the next most powerful to be born. Or perhaps from their struggle, when they were rent asunder, it created the dragons, Bahamut and Tiamat. And they populated worlds with their dragons, fighting eternally over who would control all, some worlds falling to Bahamut and others to Tiamat, and some splitting the difference, like this world seems to have. At least upon initial inspection, given that all of the Dragonborn I see seem to share traits of both metallic and chromatic dragons. The other gods, like myself, well, not really like myself, but they are capable of being on many different planes. I visit them singularly, traveling from one to the next sequentially. The other gods, they exist on the different planes simultaneously. It is because of these struggles in the early days, when there were but these few gods, and the others being created by the destruction of the former gods, Ao and Tharizdun, that the worlds differ. It's a theory I've been working on for the last several hundred. It's a theory I've been working on for a while. That there may be a finite amount of magic in the multiverse, and that it is divided up between the worlds, and so as one world gains magic, another world might lose it. I don't know that this impacts you in any way. It's just, it was something I haven't considered in a little while. It wasn't pertinent to my journey, but this discussion, the differences I've been witnessing, it's reminded me of this question I wished to answer, and each world I travel to gives me another piece of that puzzle, brings me closer to that answer. I have nothing definitive, just this working theory. But I now have another data point, that your people like...
2 points makes a line. Sorry, I just drew a line.
Indeed it does. However, 2 data points is also not enough to base even a theory on if you want to do anything that earns merit. Just putting that out there. In any event... Thank you. I would be interested to know if your artifact of Ione has any different information for me to compare notes.
Do you? I ask it, Ash.
Believe, if what I have been told by Ione is true, which I would say there is little doubt that it is, that I simply have a more complete understanding of the situation at the time. As your friend Naravar said, it doesn't impact our situation greatly, but I would be happy to tell what I have been told, if that is your wish, Scholar.
I would be most curious.
Very well.
No.
But it is my expert opinion that this is a flight of fancy and a wish to understand things that are not necessary for perhaps anything. That said, I was told that there was a time before the gods, before the worlds, when a race of beings known as the Primordials fought the extant gods, and the extant gods encompassed Tharizdun and his brother Ao. As I was told, actually, this is telling it a little bit differently. Perhaps I should just read straight off of this, since it's a story I intended to use anyway. I don't think that any of the names will really matter, but it's a fun little story. So, the Dawn War began when the mad god Tharizdun marshaled the Primordials against the gods in a bid for universal domination, becoming corrupted by the Oberiths. After Tharizdun was imprisoned in the Abyss, the Primordials were led by a couple of figures with names that are not of much import at this point in time. Shar and Saloon moved to defend the newly born world's realm space against the primordial threat. Other gods were born from the conflict or were summoned from other universes, such as the world of Narath, also ravaged by the conflicts of the war, to aid the native gods in their struggles against the primordials and their servants. In one of the most violent battles of the war, the dragon god Io, in his arrogance, faced alone a primordial called Erakhus, the king of terror, and was killed when the primordial cleaved him in twain with his adamantine axe. The same legend told that Bahamut and Tiamat were born from the two halves of the god, and joined forces to kill the primordial before they began to fight against each other. Only when Tiamat fled the battle did both dragon gods aid the other gods in the war, though they preferred to work alone. Some Dragonborn believe their race was born in that battle, when the first Dragonborn rose from Io's blood. At some point during the conflict, the goddess Auril killed the primordial Durbagal. The primordial Rorn, unable to control his temper, killed many gods, and even other primordials during the conflict, earning the enmity of both factions. Eons passed. The Shadow Epic began after the sun was devoured by the primordial known as Dendar the Night Serpent. During this phase of the war, Ouroboros, the World Serpent, was a major force leading the armies of the gods. An Oberith, known as the Queen of Chaos, allied herself with Miska the Wolf Spider, who gave her allegiance in exchange for aid in destroying the gods. All seemed lost until Wind Dukes of Akka defeated Miska at the Battle of Pesh in the world of Orth, which shattered the armies of Chaos, and the Queen of Chaos retreated with her armies back into the Abyss. And you know that the Abyss is the same plane, the Abyss, the parallel dimension where demons come from.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the primordial Ubtao turned against his kin and aided the gods, imprisoning many of his former allies in the aftermath. The sun was recreated and the oceans thawed. This ended the Dawn War and began the Days of Thunder. All of this was very far in the past, and only serves to explain the origins of some of the gods who now hold power in the different realms, Scholar. But it is a fascinating tale, is it not?
It is.
I am sorry if it does not help you with any decisions moving forward, but I did feel it would not.
I was more hoping that Naravar might be able to glean something of use from the story.
Oh,
Since he had been
indeed I
interested in it.
have. Thank you. I will need to add it to my notes and draw some connections, but this has given me some insight that I did not have before. Thank you very much, Laramendis, and you, Ash. I will, of course, if I'm still here, let you know if anything pertinent comes out of this research. But for the moment, it is, as your construct said, a flight of fancy. Not quite useful enough to change the world, but perhaps if I put enough of the pieces together, then I will understand something truly great and maybe be able to make a difference. Perhaps in my own world, or perhaps in all of them. That would be rather nice. Now then, mostly it struck me because of the fact that you believe that this is the news you've received and the things that you're doing are involved in a plight that imperils the whole world.
That would be what the size of it, yeah.
It seems a great deal of responsibility to fall to so few, so suddenly.
Are you looking to help? I can certainly take everything we can get.
He smiles and chuckles a little and says, I'm afraid it's my policy not to become involved as much as I can on the different worlds I visit. I strongly believe that people must find their own way. But perhaps it will give you heart. I hope that it will give you courage and not despair, to know that I have seen similar situations on worlds I've visited, where a great deal of responsibility, the responsibility for the lives of everyone in that world, falls to a group of unlikely allies, in times most strange, in places unexpected. Does your world have, perhaps, folklore of fated heroes that protect the world in times of great need?
I mean, there's the champions of the deities.
Those exist, of course, but this is something more. They're not always chosen by the deities, specifically in that manner. They might be, at the time. I could imagine that there is a world where this fated group of allies consists entirely of those chosen by the gods. But I think in more cases it is more subtle. People selected by the gods through more complicated methods. Simply being in the right place at the right time. Happening upon someone who can help you release and before a depowered spirit. And
can I ask something?
Of course.
No, auto character.
Oh. Yeah.
Where is this conversation taking place?
Right next to you.
Right, yeah, so none of us had left the tent yet.
I mean,
Still,
nobody was in a tent.
We would have gone a respectful distance away, probably, so that we weren't, like, too close to the tent that has Yukikaze in it and all that.
Yeah,
but
you could have done
right,
that. I will say that when Ryuzaki excused himself earlier, he went into the tent.
Yeah, which is why I think that it would have made sense that we went a ways away from it, but...
Yeah.
Sure.
I will walk off from the group.
Okay.
At that point, or like when we moved away?
Nah, at this point.
Okay.
No one comments anything.
Um,
If so, then I'm just walking off. I'm going to find a place to sit next to the water where I'm by myself.
I mean, I figured you're just going to go join Raiken. That's kind of your thing.
Yeah. No, I'm going to walk by the water, so I'm by myself, and I'm gonna start my new summon.
okay. I would have been keeping an eye on you, and then see that you get there, and then be fine with that. Like you're still within eyesight of me.
Uncle Lair.
I think, right?
I think so.
Then yeah, I'm not gonna question anything, especially once I see you visibly start doing magic.
Yeah, like if you can see the water stone from where we're at, then yes, I'm within sight still. I'm not going up to the water stone, of course, only up to the water.
Touch.
Yeah, I've been told not to touch it, so I will not touch it.
Okay.
It's Nerevar who's been saying this thing about people being chosen.
Yes.
Well, I think once he mentions that, Jabba will just know, like, I was chosen by the planet. Sort of, I think.
One more time. I missed the last thing you said. I'm sorry.
Jebel would just sort of, once he mentions that whole thing about people being chosen by gods and all that, Jebel just kind of go, oh, yeah, I was kind of chosen by the world, I think.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And it has granted you power.
Yep.
As I was told, you were a druid. And that means that you draw power from the world itself and the primal power source.
Yep.
The what?
At least that works the same.
Oh, no. The what? Power source?
Primal? The energy.
Never heard of it.
I'm sure your druid can tell you about it, but it is the energy of life itself. The world that you live upon. Nature. And the wilds.
It's pretty cool.
It tends to be why druids are such staunch protectors of the natural world. They are chosen specifically by the world to be its protector, usually to guard the natural cycle of life and death, as that's a constant problem, with powerful wizards deciding that undead servants are better than regular dead servants or some shit.
Well, in all fairness, I can see why an undead servant would be better than a dead servant.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Pardon me. Never been much of a fan of zombies.
No, the last couple of days haven't engendered much love in me either.
Okay. Well, I am not trying to suggest that this is what you are, but the evidence of my experience makes it a very favorable guess. So, I hope that gives you some heart that you're on the right path and destined for good things. But I do worry about scaring people with the gravity of the responsibility, so Take it as you will. But it seems to me, from the words of these people, that you've done a lot of good. And I think that no matter what world you're on, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Indeed it is. And the only way for us to find out if we're on the right path is to keep following it. So we'll find out one way or the other.
Sometimes in life, that's all you can do. I followed the path that seemed best to me, forging it in many places. But I can't say I regret anything. Perhaps there's one thing, but I am fixing that now. So, are we to stay here tonight and then make for your city of Tuka tomorrow?
I believe so.
Is there more news from your allies?
I have not received any other sendings today.
I hope that's a good sign.
I think if things had become measurably worse in Tuka, I would have been informed. And no news from Bromdor means it is likely that things are carrying on as they were. Preparations continue to be made. So, status quo.
Right. Well then, I think I will find a nice quiet corner to read.
Before that, would you mind teaching, showing us the disenchantment ritual? That way we can get rid of those accursed items.
Oh, that actually sounds like a good use of my time. Sure. Let's pop open that book. Not that book. That book.
I'm going to try and find paper and everything that I can record things.
You're gonna need to do that.
I'll be getting out a book and, getting quill as well.
I missed my book.
You can write it down, but you will not be able to perform it, Cyrus.
Still, in case this wizard dies, need to teach the next one.
Sure. Let's see, there it is. I'll determine in the future what to do about the last line, but for now we're not going to worry about it, Sam.
The last line?
Of this.
Oh. Yeah, that seems a reasonable thing that we will need to figure out.
For now, we're not going to worry about it. He will...
Does it take residuum?
No.
Level 6. But level 6, 4th edition, is basically a 4th level spell.
I believe that's correct. Because I think level in this edition refers
Level is
to
character
player
level. Yeah.
That would basically be a 3rd level spell, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be third or 4th.
Because you have to be 7th level to get 4th level spells, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was character level. Like you said, man, high magic world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, creating a magic item, that's a 2nd level spell. A 2nd level ritual, like, comparatively. You get it at 4th character level in 4th edition.
I now want to play 4th edition.
The thing about
Or
4th is
high level 5th edition.
it assumed that at X level you had a wide number of magic items. You had everyone had your magic weapon, everyone had your magic armors, and like it was built into the assumption of your power level.
Yeah.
Which is why you could start creating them at such a low level.
Which is why I tell people that 4th edition is an example of a high magic world, and 5th edition is not. Because the challenge rating of monsters in 5th edition is entirely based on character level with no magic items. Even the highest level stuff, the challenge rating is still based on the idea that you have no magic items. Magic items raise your effective level significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Question, since I am not actually able to copy this into my book, am I able to write the ritual down and annotate it properly such that I can copy it into my book with the appropriate inks at a later time? Or
he will help you.
Because I don't have the inks, unless I can try and go and find them, but I don't know if I will be able to do so.
He's a pretty generous soul.
Okay.
So he will help you write. He will provide you some materials, and he will walk you through it and help you write it down in a way that you can understand. And then he will perform the ritual. And so he sets up the area. It says that the component cost is 25 GP, so he literally, like, pops open his bag of residuum and, like, reaches in for, like, a grain of residuum.
And then cuts that grain in half.
Yeah. Because if I do this and search the document for residuum, for the description of residuum, the value of residuum, it's a convenient way to transport large sums of wealth. 10,000 GP worth of residuum weighs as much as a single gold piece.
So he pulls out like 1/10 of a grain.
Yeah. Yeah.
He pulls out a grain, and then after casting the ritual, it looks like the grain is the same size.
Yeah. So you ended up, I think, Leah, did you end up with 2 bags or 3 bags at the end of Zintharamil's thing?
2.
2, I think, yeah.
2. So each of those pouches was 1 pound. So not that you can do anything with it in this world, but I'll tell you just because it's fun to know. Each of those bags is worth 500,000 gold pieces.
But currently they're priceless.
Currently they're worthless.
Yeah,
It's the same thing. If it doesn't have a price, it is worthless. No, that's not how Laramandus looks at things.
So yeah, just a quick note on that, which I'm sure Naravar would be happy to explain. Thinking that you can exchange it easily. Because people will, of course, understand the power of this stuff once you explain it and pay great sums of money for it.
No.
Well, also, just so few people can actually use it here that even if everyone understood the, like, inherent worth of it, it doesn't matter because, like, people aren't using it to create food and shit. It's just...
Yeah.
Like, there's like 20 people in a given country that can use it properly.
And we have like 7 of them. 6.
So he's going to set it up. He places the accursed boots into the middle. He says the incantation, and what does it say? 1 minute?
1 hour.
1 hour. So he spends an hour doing this, and probably a half hour before that, helping you copy it down.
I'm happy to see those things go.
They vanish entirely. Like, the boots themselves are gone. They seem to catch fire for a moment, and then there's a bright flash. And he had laid the boots themselves on a sheet of cloth, like a handkerchief. And you can still see the impressions of the soles where it pushed down the sand beneath the cloth, but instead in the middle there's just a pile of this fine silvery grain of sand grains. Let's see, 1/5. So I guess there's less than a gold piece worth of, a gold piece's volume of residuum.
Okay, I was gonna say less than a gold worth.
No. Less than a gold piece's volume.
Find what we made.
And he looks at this little itty bitty pile of sand grains really disappointedly. Says, what is wrong with your world?
What do you mean?
Is that not how it's supposed to happen?
I mean, that's exactly how it's supposed to happen. I just imagine they would be worth, decidedly more.
Maybe the curse affects the value?
Slightly, but who created the curse?
Perhaps the Lich, perhaps the gnomes at Garland, I'm not sure.
What did they do exactly?
Well, they made sure I couldn't stop moving and have given me some form of magical exhaustion after the fact. They hate it.
And they were incredibly useful while you were wearing them?
They were very useful. They, let me move significantly faster and made people have a hard time attacking me as I moved out of their reach.
God's damn.
Yeah, that curse
gnomes.
sounds like something gnomes would do.
Yeah, that's exactly something gnomes would do.
I do something like that.
Go to what?
That was really funny.
I must have missed something.
I'd
You
watch
didn't
out
see
for
it.
him,
He
lads.
couldn't stand still.
It did make opening up a couple doors rather, impossible.
So, by the end of this ritual, Leah, you finish what you're doing. Do you come back to the group?
I mean, first I will introduce myself to the new familiar I summoned.
Sure.
You know,
That was quick.
it takes an
Takes, like,
hour.
Is
I'm
it
aware,
an hour?
but still, I'm just surprised.
It's been an hour and a half for you, Larmendus.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that Zintharamil found one that quickly. Since he said it'd be one he trusted.
Well, I mean, I assume that's a fairly quick thing to do.
Yes. He was able to send you one.
So yeah, as it's someone of go. Oh, hello.
What's it look like?
Just a quick moment here.
It looks like. Yeah, it's a sprite. It's a female sprite, so it's like a tiny fairy-looking creature.
Talks like a very heavy smoker.
Like that one in
Nice.
Disenchanted.
Like the one that Disenchanted, yeah. Oh god. Great series, by the way.
Wait, you'll be able to detect our alignments now.
Wait,
That's what's
really?
Yeah, sprites can do that.
Sprites are one of the very few ways that a player is able to detect alignments.
Yeah, they're very handy. And since it can also speak Common, Sylvan, and Elvish, I'm capable to communicate with it out loud. I don't have to go telepathically. So yeah, she got like a pixie cut, pink hair, and dressed in rather rough leather, dark brown, blackish armor clothes, with like a riding. No, it shouldn't have that. But no. Yeah, I mean, cut holes in the back for the wings. She's carry a bow, I believe, and a longsword. Yeah, short bow and a longsword. Same, I mean, matching size to her, so they're like tiny.
So she
Very
can fire
adorable.
toothpicks. Good to know.
So she's like what? 2-3 inches tall.
Something like that. Yeah, it's a tiny creature. So
And like she's wearing leather. She kills a cow. That's like
She killed an entire cow and then cut the tiniest little piece of it into her clothing.
No, she just killed a sprite cow.
yeah, I don't know how leather armor work for a creature that small.
Very
mean,
carefully.
It doesn't. It's really just for show.
Find.
Maybe the Feywild has like tiny sized leather creatures, like bugs with
Yeah,
leather.
Sprite cow.
Sprite cow. What are you doing, Tristan?
Making sure that I understand what I'm about to play.
Oh yeah. Sprites.
Did you have a name for it? Did you send me that? You did, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also set it as a familiar in my character sheet now.
Yeah.
Because you can do that at extra.
That's right, there it is. So, yes, you cast the Find Familiar spell. It takes you 1 hour. And a brilliant ring of green light forms before you. And within that ring, you see the silhouette of this tiny creature appear and then solidify, and the green light fades. And this tiny pixie-cut sprite looks up at you with her bow slung over her shoulder and says in a tiny voice of a creature so small, "Greetings, I am Loralee. I have been sent to help you by Zintharamil. What's your name?"
I'm Leah. I mean, I guess a courtesy because I can't really shake the hands of something so small.
Hold out your hand.
I do so.
She lands in the palm of your hand and then seems to hug your thumb.
Oh,
Says,
you're adorable.
"It is an honor to meet you.
Likewise.
I have spent the last... longer than I am able to know, worried that my friend Zintharamil would never come back. Worried that he had done wrong.
Oh, he hasn't. He's been trapped, but we released him.
He explained, and that is why I came to help you. Thank you for returning my friend."
It was nothing. I mean, it was quite something. It took some time, but you know what I mean.
I think we will be good allies.
I think so too. Oh, you should meet my friends.
I would like nothing more.
I'll rush over to the others.
Alright. As you approach the others, you find that the group is scattered. Vendar is stinkily brewing potions next to the wagon by the water as the day wears on into the mid-afternoon. Actually into the late afternoon, given the amount of time spent telling the story and all of that. Let me think here. You know that Yukikaze is gone. Raiken is off. You can still see the press gang that is his brother's unit around him, and there's more than a few raised voices, but there's also laughter there. You imagine he's at the center of it somewhere. I know that Cyrus is with Lair. Is Jebel also there for this disenchantment ritual?
I'd say yeah. I'd say he's a bit interested in this.
He's interested? Okay. So, and you can do the weapon thing later, too. There's time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So, you find the three of them together, and you know where the other two are. What am I missing?
Actually, could I have just wandered off and handed the teeth over to someone?
And then wandered
You know,
back?
Yeah.
Sure. What weapon do you request? Or what do you want done with the teeth? There are three of them. They're, you know, all... they're all decent size. One of them could maybe be made into a longsword. The others are shorter.
Some really cool scrimshaw. It's gonna be like a purple worm on it.
What's down? Yeah, let's get it. You get how many spearheads could I get out of one?
Out of one tooth spearheads? Yeah. If you use the longest tooth, I would say that you could get maybe 4 good spearheads, and out of the shortest 2.
Can I get? I'll say, can I get a longsword? Like a proper size longsword?
Yeah.
Out of the longest one?
And so you mean a human-sized longsword, not a gnomish one?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah. You could do that with the longest one.
Then, what, 2 spearheads out of one of the shorter ones?
Okay.
And I don't know what to do with the last one, really.
Really cool scrimshaw.
I don't know what that is.
Scrimshaw.
Scrimshaw is the art on the bones, like carved into the bones.
Yeah, okay.
More spearheads. That way you'll never run out of spearhead.
Would I be able to make a mace head out of one?
A mace head.
Or is it a... Yeah, a mace head.
A mace head. I suppose they could break one of the teeth up into the flanges on the head of a mace, if it were like a cudgel style thing where it's they're positioned around the baton, the shaft of the mace, rather than being like, because they're not weighty enough to be like the flail kind of mace, or the right shape, but you could make them be the flanges on a mace.
Yeah.
Which would be effective, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think how this would work, because mechanics-wise in D&D, because it's dumb, maces deal bludgeoning damage, And the whole idea behind them in the earliest editions was the misconception that maces didn't draw blood when you struck with them, which is why they were the preferred weapons of clerics, because clerics weren't allowed to draw blood. And so, in the spirit of that problematic ruling, historically problematic, but the mechanics rely on it, I don't know how this thing would function for poisoning things, because you need to puncture or cut in order to inject poison. Although, I suppose it could work in the same way. But that was I was thinking of how the shield works, but that was kind of because it was a plate of the chitin. Making me think over here. I think that... Sure. We'll say that it works a little bit like the shield, where cracking it against somebody creates perhaps a little cloud of inhalable poison for that 1d6 extra damage.
Okay. So it is a that'll be a mace, a longsword, and 2 spears.
Okay.
We'll make them gnome-sized spears.
Gnome-sized spears. Okay. And the mace...
For me.
For you.
So,
Okay, so gnome-sized mace, gnome-sized spears. Yeah, they can make all that. They'll charge you when they finish it.
Okay, then I wander back.
Okay, so that doesn't take you much time at all. You're observing the, you know, by the time you get done with that, they're only just starting the ritual itself. You can observe that. About halfway through the ritual, Leah comes back, and there's this tiny creature with, like, dragonfly wings darting around her, looking at everything going on.
One moment.
Oh crap, I think that I started typing a message to somebody and then, yep, never sent it. Excuse me, that's the wrong word. Okay, oh my god, so many messages.
Welcome.
Yeah, so many messages. And also, what is that clicking noise I keep hearing in the background?
Probably me. That's nothing.
What were you doing?
That's arthritis.
It's a game chair that I have that, like, you can plug in audio stuff, and so it's just a little knob that you can turn on and off.
Ah. I know. I tend to fiddle with stuff like that too until they break. So yeah, I will rush up to you. And by the way, Tristan, Her name is pronounced Lorelei, like in
That's
the song
what I was
Linked.
wondering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I linked the song that inspired me to the name, so it's
Yes, I
pronounced like
recall.
that. Yeah.
I'm familiar with the story from which Lorelei comes.
Yeah, it's like a river or something, I think.
She was a siren.
Right, yeah. So yeah, I will rush over to you guys, and I will. Is she still in my hand, or has she taken flight?
She can return to your hand, but she does, frequently, like the tiny little creature she is, energetic, buzz around and look at things. It's a long time since I've visited the material plane.
Oh, do you know how long?
No. Time is not something I keep track of more than long time, or not so long time, or very long time.
Very long it is. Hi guys, I want to introduce you to my new friend.
So you come in the middle of this casting where Naravar is incanting and making gestures in the air. You can see that the boots that Cyrus was wearing all through the dungeon are resting in the sand on top of a white handkerchief, and they're beginning to glow. And that Cyrus and Laramendus are intently watching everything he's doing.
So yeah, I point at sprites to you guys. Zintharamil send that to
I
me.
imagine we're all very distracted.
Hello, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
This is Lorelei. Zintharamil sent that to me.
What did she do?
Everything.
What the? I mean, she's a person. She's very familiar. She will follow us.
And then what?
And, have you never encountered? I mean, it's like the owl. Kyoko.
Kyoko.
Yeah.
In all fairness, I can't remember the last time I've seen that owl.
She, this tiny warrior-looking miniature elf with, like, dragonfly wings, stands on the outstretched hand of Leah and seems to squint at everyone in front of her, casting her gaze across you, as though appraising each of you for your value.
Jebbles is very low to her. With all the questions they...
I mean, you're a druid, right? Don't you know? Have you never heard of sprites?
I know sprites, but I.
Actually,
I
no,
will be the
wait.
one to determine if they're good or not.
You can do that?
Of course. Whether or not someone's good is in the beat of their heart.
And Like, what do you think of my friends, my family? I mean, they don't always ask these stupid questions. Well, Jebel does.
Shots fired.
And sometimes Dad. Actually, quite often Dad. I mean, just ignore it. They can be a little bit awkward.
I'll tell you what I think of them. And she lifts off from your hand and buzzes around Jebel's head a few times. And then she seems to disappear into the fold of cloth at his collar.
I'm not sure I like this.
There is a very disconcerting feeling of, like, this tiny creature clutching onto your chest. Like a butt. You kind of, it almost feels like the prickle of, like, bug's legs as it crawls on you.
I've never seen Kyoko do this.
After a few seconds, after a few long, uncomfortable seconds, she reappears in front of you with her arms folded, and then buzzes back toward Leah and says, I like that one. He's good.
Me next.
Was that Jebel?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Jebel.
What did you do?
What?
Yeah, how do you know you disappeared?
I told you. Whether or not people are good is in the beat of their heart. I can
Did you
sense
fly into
it.
his heart?
Near enough.
That's cool.
Cyrus volunteering, she buzzes over and flies in through one of your nipple holes. Lovingly
See
gifted
if the
to
Dragonborn have
by
anything
somebody.
halfling size.
Nobody you can prove put those holes in your shirt.
For all everybody knows, you
I
just
need
love
to
having
find out.
nipple holes.
If the Dragonborn have something in halfling size.
I
do
forgot
have a
we were
crossbow,
almost
so I might not be out of
digested.
And after a few seconds, she buzzes back out and says, Well, he's not evil.
I take offense at that. I try to help people.
I take offense at your choice of attire.
Somebody did this. I need a new shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I giggle.
She
In his defense, he was almost digested by a big worm.
She buzzes on and disappears. And then comes back and says, The other one isn't evil either.
The other one being Lermendes?
Yeah, Larman is the only other person there.
I'm completely distracted.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
This is very interesting. Where's Dad?
I do not know.
I asked the other guys as well. Yeah. None of you know where Raiken went?
So you saw the gaggle of Arcosian Dragonborn as you made your way over here. You know that they're still talking. But also you can hear, like, shouting and joking intermittently. He might be there still.
I'm gonna have to introduce you to my father. I adopted.
Okay. Is he evil?
No. I don't think so. Very likely not. Though he's
That's
a
started
follower.
backsliding quickly.
There was a time that she thought he was. for landing on her.
Yeah.
Oh. Holy crap.
He can. He can be a bit. He can be a little bit dumb sometimes. It's. But being a little bit stupid isn't the same as being evil. It doesn't mean any harm. As long as you're not on the opposite side of his blade, he's a follower of Cord.
He resembles that remark.
You're supposed to. It's a remark about you.
Yeah, I'm saying this while walking over to the Dragonborn.
Okay.
I'm going to try and squeeze myself past the Dragonborn so I can get up to Raiken.
You squeeze your way through these armored thighs of all these huge Dragonborn that are standing around. Every now and then you have to, like, leap out of the way as one of them shifts his weight or steps to the side as he, like, laughs or receives a blow from the Dragonborn next to him.
Yeah, I know how it is. I'm a short person that I've been to concerts.
Eventually, you make your way to the center, and you find Tatsuya knelt down with his hand on top of Raiken's head, like, pressing down on him, you know, literally putting pressure on him. They're speaking in Draconic.
What is going on here?
There's a quick hush rushes through the group, and some chuckles you can hear from nearby. And Tatsuya, who was looking rather displeased, looks over at you and then busts out a big reptilian smile and says, "Leah, my niece! Come here!"
What are you doing to him?
Oh,
Unhand him.
your dad and I are just having a talk about all the things we need to do once we get our Koja back.
Is this how we normally talk?
Oh, all the time, ever since he was young. Isn't that right, brother?
I never really cared.
This
for
position helps you think, doesn't it?
No. Get off of me.
Don't lie to your daughter. You do your best thinking like this, and he, like, sits on your back.
Smite him!
Like, Dad, not.
I'm beginning to feel a climax song coming on.
No. I
Wait,
don't,
what?
do you think Cord would like you yielding so easily? And I give
I'm
him
not
a weight.
yielding. I'm letting him.
So you're yielding.
I mean, it
Yeah,
was a valiantly fought battle, but of course I won.
I take it you haven't shown him your new attire.
You mean his pretty silk dress? No, I love it. It suits him.
No, I have not.
Just get it over with.
Brother, are you holding out on me? What's she talking about as he noogies you?
Play the music!
Under his breath, Raiken will say, Bal was y'all nesel gung near Tron.
Alright, let's see if this works.
So I'm kind of envisioning Shazam.
No, we already posted the video.
Yeah, I know. I like this version better. Lightning bolt, whole thing.
What, the Mario one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's Mario one.
There it goes.
And so, as before, suddenly the ground around Raiken lights up, and Tatsuya suddenly springs away from his brother, and the whole group seems to, like, widen out a donut hole in the middle around him as a shaft of light reaches up toward the sky, and you can once again see your father, naked as the day he was born, no detail. striking several combat poses as different pieces of armor appear on his arms and legs and chest and finally his head. And only once all the armor is in place does the light seem to begin to fade away. You hear this music. Everyone there is struck dumb in awe as this occurs. And finally, the light fades and Raiken steps forward, bearing the armor of Cord, its red-orange visor glowing over his face. Got the timing on that really fucking good. And, there's, like, this long pause, and suddenly you just cheer, like, from the back of the group. The whole group just sort of breaks out clapping. And Tatsuya, like, just standing there with his jaw hung open, fangs pointed skyward, just goes, and what did I just witness? I can't get it out of my eyes!
I saw my brother naked!
Horrible, isn't it?
Is this how you fight enemies now? What the hell? I can't see!
I have found the armor of Cord!
The whole group, other than your brother, is like cheering huzzah. Oh, what the hell was that? He seems to act this out for a while yet until he realizes nobody is paying attention to him. He straightens himself up. Says, so, you have fully forsaken Bahamut, then?
I wouldn't say I've forsaken it, but Cord is my one true god.
And this is what is this?
This is the armor. One of the most powerful armors in existence.
Except for the armor of Bahamut.
It's more powerful than the armor of Bahamut.
Of course. As you say, brother.
I roll my eyes.
So, did your daughter get it for you as a birthday gift?
I would give him a birthday gift? It's my birthday today.
What? It's my niece's birthday? Happy birthday! He, like, lifts you up onto your shoulder. Fuck your armor! My niece's birthday's today!
I think this is my new favorite NPC.
Yeah, Lola would take to the sky before he grabs me, I assume, and just fly above.
Raiken tries to facepalm, forgets that there's a visor in front.
So it's just a clank, and you can't even reach your face, it's just there. So, he says with Leah still on his shoulder, what's it do? Magic?
It has some special abilities.
I should hope.
One of which, wiping out entire army.
Oh, does the other one grow your dick?
I think that occurs naturally as a side effect.
You're not here.
I am in spirit.
Really? So you're going to wipe out 2 armies?
If I must.
Not wipe out. Remember? You're going to cause peace, not destroy.
Yes, of course. I was more meaning Bala's army.
Oh, yeah, that army we will destroy.
This is your father? This one, right here?
Not the one I'm sitting on, but the one that danced naked. Yep, that's him.
Alright, I'm going in.
She hands you a flower, like a very small flower.
You see this bug zip away from Leah and directly up to you, and then disappear near like the armpit of your armor.
Oh, it tickles.
It does tickle. There's a lot of tickling on your scaly chest all of a sudden.
Ah! Ah!
And then a moment later, she appears in front of your visor with her arms folded and kind of sniffs at you. And you see that it's like a tiny miniature elf with dragonfly wings and like leather armor, with a bow slung over her shoulder and a sword at her hip.
Oh, you're cute.
I don't approve. And she zips back over to Leah.
What? What does she not approve of?
He's not evil, but he's not smart either.
Well,
Hey!
I already told you that.
I am very smart.
Maybe he is evil.
You would know. Isn't that what you do?
Yes. It's uncertain. His heart yet wavers. It hasn't decided its path yet.
Then I will help him decide.
What is that supposed to mean? I don't have an evil bone in my...
Bones can't be evil, dumbass.
Your sprite isn't very nice.
You
I
receive
think
a
she's kinda
very
cool.
rude gesture. In very tiny form.
Does it come from one hand or both?
Just one.
Leah, put that sprite in the timeout.
What's timeout?
I can't have her teaching you bad things.
She's teaching me bad things. Look who's talking.
So, wait a second. Did it call Raiken evil?
It hasn't said that.
It only says she's only said that he was wavered.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all she has to say on the matter. Anything else you want to do with the last 2 minutes before I'm gonna call it because it's 11?
Yeah, while you're at it, you can check this one as well. And I'm pointing out the one I'm sitting on. She hasn't let me down yet.
I would like to try and have what should be a quick conversation with Vindar before I forget again.
Okay, hang on. She zips down and Tasha says, "Hey, what the hell? It's creepy, it's creepy!"
A little to the left.
And then it zips out. This one believes his cause is righteous, and does indeed intend to help others, as his god commands. I think he's a little cruel to his younger brother, but he is good.
More than a little.
You shut up! You waver!
Just like, okay, evil Raiken.
I'm good. The tiny elf said so.
We should talk about this later.
So we now have the good Dragonborn and the bad Dragonborn.
Now we just need...
Tasia, just because I have 2 tiny elves now. I'm going to dinner, brother.
I mean,
Very well.
if one thing, my uncle has at least congratulated me yet.
Hmm?
I said to Lorelai. Yeah. Well, at least my uncle remembered to congratulate me. For my birthday.
Of course, I've heard it's an important day.
I don't know. I don't really often have good things happen at my birthday. So far, this has been really, really the best one.
She smiles.
Hasn't even been a mud cake. Or a dead animal under my pillow.
Do you want those things?
No.
Oh.
But the kids at the orphanage, they used to prank me on my birthday. They weren't very nice.
Well, we're not gonna have any more birthdays like that. And she very pointedly is looking away from Raiken as Tatsuya hauls ass toward the encampment again, with you still on his shoulder.
Oh. Excuse me, can you let me down?
We're going to get dinner, niece.
I mean...
Birthday dinner.
Do I have a choice on the matter?
Nope.
What else do you need to do?
Just as long as it's vegetarian.
My niece is a vegetarian! And none of you make fun of her.
Okay.
He points at the soldiers who all look terrified.
How loud is he? With not wanting to eat animals.
He's pretty loud. He's about as loud as Raiken usually is.
Probably even a little more.
Maybe.
He's the older brother.
he's taller too, or?
Little.
Just enough.
I mean, he's only like 7'8". It's fine.
So only 8 inches taller? Yeah, that's totally nothing.
As they walk away, Raiken will reach into his bag and try to find and clutch something, and then he'll go back and start following them.
Okay, you may do so. I will skip over quickly to Derek. What did you want to talk to Vendar about?
I wanted to go over and ask him about why there might be a messenger for him in Tsuka.
Okay. Vendar, you can choose to respond. You are still working on your potions.
I honestly have no idea. Without having any idea what the message is about, it could be anything.
Are you sure you didn't do anything there that might come back to haunt us?
No. Not there.
And where?
Again, it's not specific enough. It's like, you just want me to go about everything that could possibly be? There's too much.
You know how many people I pissed off?
You know how many people we piss off as a group?
No, but I'd like to know, so I can be ready.
Too many. We piss off too many people. I don't even know which ones are still pissed off at us. The messenger in Tsuka, I have no idea what it might be about.
Could it have something to do with your tabaxi friend?
I mean, I had some fun with my friend Lynn while we were there. I guess maybe it could be her, but... I don't know what else. Like, the way Larmendis described it sounded more like someone angrily looking for me, and...
Well, he was
Oh,
quite
that's
vague.
well,
It could be
well.
either way. Is that where you got those lockpicks from?
Yes, Lynn gave me these magic lockpicks while I was there.
Quite the extravagant gift. You must have done something to earn it.
I mean, we had some fun around town. She stole like 10 platinum from me. I let her keep it. She gave me the magic lockpicks. That's basically it. I don't know what you think you're gonna glean from this.
One second. Alright, well, I guess we'll just find out when we get there. Thank you for your time.
No problem. I'll just be here making poison.
And I'll go off to see if I can find someone to sell me a replacement shirt.
Several Dragonborn offer to repair your shirt for you.
Alright, how much is that going to cost me?
Nothing.
Awesome. I have a shirt again.
What color is your shirt?
Except you know that there's just pity. It's a pity shirt.
What color is your shirt?
Like red.
Red.
Red and gold.
Okay. Your red and gold shirt now has blue nipples.
The cost was only the judgment of your.
You know,
They just grabbed the nearest material and sewed it over the holes. They're like, there, see, easy, done. Here you go. There was no malice in it. They weren't trying to make you look bad. They're like, oh yeah, I can fix that. You're a hero. Here you go, for free.
I will thank them and think, well, this will work till I can at least buy a new one.
As you go, you'll hear like whispers in the crowd, like, see that? That shirt was sewn up by, Oh,
Insert check.
She got to interact with the heroes. It seems genuine. Like, people are like, oh man, she got to fix his shirt for him. Now everyone knows.
All right, good to know.
So, what now? What's that?
I was going to call it there and let us pick it up in the evening of the 13th next week, because it seems like there's more roleplay yet to do, which makes me happy.
Yeah, there's a very roleplay heavy session.
Well, we're back out of the dungeon. It's time to get our roleplay in again.
Indeed.
I like that. I prefer these kind of sessions.
I'm glad to hear.
I like it.
All
And
right.
the memes have been on point.
What do you mean? I slept the whole time.
You're
I
still
rolled-
sleeping.
I roleplayed like a champ.
You did. You did great. I felt it. I felt your conviction in those snores.
Yeah.
I think that you were probably going full method on me. Were you asleep?
No, I wasn't. I was listening, but I gotta be
Teasing you.
careful. I gotta be careful not to. Remember, my character doesn't know
Meta.
half the shit you guys talked about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he
like,
does
the
know,
thing-
like, the
yeah.
content of a lot of what was told is stuff that you
I know.
witnessed, so...
But some of it, not so, like I didn't witness Zintharamil's pact with Leah, so that's gonna be something I'll be waking up to.
I'm just gonna be like, so where's Zintharamil? And everyone's like, oh.
Oh, why did this bug crawl in my shirt?
Nobody told you.
He's not in the group chat.
Get it out! Get it out!
Alright,
Start smacking at it.
but I think it's officially time for me to go to bed.
Yeah.
Alright, I think everybody
see,
did a
that-
great job.
Yeah. See, that is why I linked squirrel in the pants gif. Because of...
Everybody, please take 600 experience points.
Woo.
Whoop whoop.
6. Who dirt?
That's a lot for a roleplay session.
I mean, it was a very important roleplay session. At least for my character.
Alright, night guys.
Night.
Nice.
Night. He did Zintharamil just get 600 XP for sleeping?
No, you mean Yukikaze?
Yukikaze, yeah. Yeah, I said. I'm a bit dozy.
I mean, yeah, he roleplayed perfectly. What?
That is well earned 600 XP.
Just- Man, Leah's really not letting her birthday.
It's been a decent birthday for her, I think.
Yeah, I mean, considering her birthdays were usually either ignored or just very awful.
Yeah.
This one is very good.
You know, I do want to tell you, I didn't plan for the Zintharamil thing to happen on your birthday. That was just happenstance.
Yeah, that was a very nice coincidence.
Yeah. I didn't think it would be happening until the day after this, because I thought you would be traveling still.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
March.
things turned out very well there. I mean, I've been waiting for these two things to happen, and now both happen at the same time. So, let's think for me to wait for in agony.
I think that you suffered long, and I think that you suffered well. I am thankful for the grace with which you took the development of this piece of story, and I hope
Of course.
I hope that the way it played out and the way that I described it did justice to the amount of time you had to spend without your power.
Oh, I hope so. I can't wait to try some of the new spells out, because there was a lot to work out there, and I did work it out. So I have flipped around some spells, and one. Actually, I didn't remove much of what I had before. I think I only removed one, but because the thing just automatically, like D&D Beyond, just automatically got rid of all of the fiend ones as soon as I did the switch. So I didn't need to do that. So I just added the new ones, some new spells. I was well. I think I had like 4 spells less than I should at my level. So I had to add in a few.
I see. Well.
Yeah, and that I also noticed a spell I could add that I did add. That was like, why hasn't Larmendis and Nala used this one? Because it's not because it's not standard. Ah, okay, then I cannot have that spell. I'm gonna have to remove that. It doesn't. It's not easy to see which spell is from the standard books or not. And then I cannot have that one because it's not from the standard book. It's from an expansion book.
Oh yeah, dude. Keep a close eye on the bottom right corner, I think. Bottom left,
yeah,
where it says the source book it comes from.
It says source. It says there.
I'm pretty sure I turned off most of the expansion books. You might still have access to Xanathars though. So just make sure.
This one is from Lost Laboratory of Qualish.
That's weird. I went through and I turned all that weird stuff off.
I might have bought it after that.
Oh, that's possible.
Yeah, so cannot have that one. That makes sense why I haven't used that one, because that spell would be so useful for getting your book back, because it literally lets you send items with the spirits over long distance. But yeah, no, then I still need to add another spell then. I'm going through the ones I have now to see if there's more that is not supposed to be there. It doesn't look like it.
Well, in any event, welcome to your new pact. Congratulations.
Yay, thanks.
Woo!